What's going on, everybody? Just your opinion, man. Derek Papa. Stephen Langford is taking this episode off. He's dealing with some family stuff, and we want to say we're thinking about Stephen and his family. They always are great supporters of the podcast. I was thinking about the Langfords today. But we got my buddy Alon filling in for this episode. You guys know Alon from a week ago. He was on the episode where unfortunately John Madden passed away, but we had good times.
Yeah.
And Alon is back with us. What's up, Lonnie?
Just a lot. I haven't heard that back since the 95-7 game
I
days.
know.
That's what
Who used to call you that? Herbs?
Herbs. Yeah, Herbs would call me Lonnie. Nash would call me Alani. But just hanging out, kind of that lull, that down period after the holidays. So just trying to kind of decompress, relax, not do a whole bunch, but definitely psyched to go to this Raider game on Sunday.
So you're going to the game?
I am. So I have 4 tickets. My brother was going to come in, and he got a little sick. I don't know if one of his kids brought some home from school or whatever. And he's like, "Well, I don't really want to fly if I'm not feeling that well." And then he was like, "Well, I could drive on Saturday and then come back Sunday night." I was like, "You're insane." So I'm just I sold the other 3 tickets, and I'm just going to go to the game.
Nice.
Because a lot of my other friends are out of town, so I was just like, okay, well, I'll go by myself.
How much scratch you make from selling those tickets?
So get this. So the face value of the tickets are $190 each.
Yeah.
And they're in the lower bowl, but after the StubHub tax and everything, about $3,100.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, you know what? I kind of feel bad about it because a lot of people do sell their tickets. But every time I've sold my tickets and gone to the game, I've lucked out. I've never sold them to a non-Raider fan.
Well, that's good because you won't worry about Charger fans taking those tickets.
No, well, they don't exist, but well, there's a few. But the media
They'll be sprinkled in the crowd.
The media are Charger fans. They love the Chargers. I think the Chargers definitely grease them every offseason, buy them some Zabars, bagels, and locks and stuff all kinds of nice gift baskets.
If that's the case, then they're doing a horrible job trying to grease people to come into their home games. But Alon, I'm glad you're here because last time you were on, you and I did a picks contest. And we talked about this fantastic game the Raiders were going to play against the Colts. And I was hesitant about them winning. But I picked them because I thought that they would, I thought that Carson Wentz wasn't going to play. And I thought they would honor John Madden. Then I got cold feet when I saw that Carson Wentz was playing the game. And I was like, screw it, Alon, let's switch. And you're like, fine, I'll take that switch. And in the end, you get that right, but you lose.
Yeah, I lost by a game. But
you know what?
What's so funny about that is I was so scared of Sam Ellinger. I mean, this is my thought process. I was so scared of Sam Ellinger playing, and I was just like, he's mobile. The guy's a winner. I don't know. These are the kind of quarterbacks that beat the Raiders in the past.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
so then when the Wentz news came out, I was like, oh, sure. Because I don't think Wentz is a world beater or anything like that. And definitely it didn't help that he couldn't prepare for a week.
Him not practicing all week was the determining factor, in my opinion.
But at the same time, I'm like, guys like Steve well, I'm not even going to compare him to Steve McNair, but guys like Steve McNair, guys from the past, or even guys currently who are nicked up at the end of the season, they don't practice at all.
That's true.
And then they still go and play well. Always remember Steve McNair, in the early 2000s, towards the end of the season, because of the physical style he played and how many hits he would take sometimes, he wouldn't practice the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And then in the playoffs, he would be like, I don't practice. I'm just going to go. Yeah. I'm going to do walkthroughs and stuff, but I'm not going to do anything super heavy. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. One thing I noticed about Wentz is he is a guy who needs to practice for sure. You're right about that, Derek, because I think as soon as a bump in the road happens or something like that, or some type of interruption, he's totally off kilter. He's out of rhythm. It's really weird to watch.
Yeah. But let's talk about that win, man. Me and Steven talked about it last episode, but your thoughts on the Raiders squeaking by to get that pivotal 23-20 win over the Indianapolis Colts?
I think they made it a lot harder than they had to. They were up by 13-3 at one point, and the one thing we haven't seen from this team yet is their it's not that they're not willing to, but their ability, if they have it, we haven't seen it, their ability to bury a good team, without letting them back in the game. So They still haven't really, besides against the Broncos and the Eagles, I would say, which were Rich Bisaccia's first 2 games as head coach. They haven't really played a complete 60-minute game. I mean, some people might say the Dallas game because they were fighting the entire way, but I'm like,
yeah,
well,
but they snuck back in.
Yeah, they snuck back in, and really it was so okay, offense, your turn to go play well.
Yeah.
Defense, now that's not. They haven't really done that. I'm not asking for total domination. I mean, a lot of fans probably do, but I just think this game needs to be the game where they finally put a full 60-minute effort together. And if they get up by 10 points at any point, that's when you just got to start thinking, all right, let's just keep adding points. If you're up by 10, obviously the touchdown, hopefully you get touchdowns and you don't want field goals every time. But okay, say you're up by 10 and you have 8 more possessions the rest of the game. Well, try to get points on 5 of them. Because even if they're all field goals, an extra 15 points are usually going to win you a game if you're already up by 10.
And Daniel Carlson has proven that he can be relied on for those, 15 points.
What do you think Minnesota thinks about that whole debacle? They wanted a kicker for so long. He didn't kick well with them.
Yeah, they had guys like Blair Walsh too in the past. Kickers are kickers. Sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're cold, and then they just play well for other teams. It's just the way it is.
That's what Steven was saying about Jano.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, 50. It was funny when he said that 50 yards plus. Sure, chip shot.
Well, I was gonna bring up the time. I remember Jano kicking a 56-yard field goal to beat the Jets in overtime. And you're like, sure thing. Then he misses 3 against the Cardinals that were chippies.
I was just gonna mention that. Yeah.
But going back to the Colts game real quick, have you seen the new Hard Knocks with the Colts in season 1?
I haven't watched the in-season Hard Knocks, so I was never a really big Hard Knocks guy after maybe the first couple seasons because it was kind of a novelty when it first came out.
Yeah,
and I guess it is still a novelty, but now I'm like, it kind of feels. I watched the Raider one and I was like, this feels so overproduced and
it is.
But maybe that was Gruden because he's a TV guy too. So I don't know what It's just kind of I was like,
I will say the Colts one is growing on me just because it's not as flashy like in other ones where they're doing training camp. It's all like, all right, man, let's go to work. And then it's slow-mo shots of them training in training camp to Imagine Dragons just being like, I'm waking up and pushing tires and shit. And it's just a little too much over the top. But I will say that then the in-season one is all right. But in this last episode, they show the Raider game. And what was interesting to me, and Steven brought it up on the last episode, was that more teams now are in the mindset that maybe you should allow the opposing team to score in order for you to get the ball back. Sure enough, everyone on the Colts sideline is pissed that they overturned the Hunter Renfro play. They wanted Hunter Renfro to score in order for them to get the ball back and answer with their score. Mm-hmm. So that made me think a little bit were they confident that they could go down and score on the Raiders defense? And they could have very well done that. But in the end, the Raiders got lucky, probably from the fact that Kenny Moore, the team that they were going up against, touched the heel of Hunter Renfro.
So when watching that game on television, when Renfro caught the pass, I was like, okay. And then he gets up and he just runs, and I'm like, I'm not yelling, but I'm just saying to myself, I'm like, get down at the 2, get down at the 1. That's kind of what I thought he was going to do because he's a pretty heady player. But obviously, sometimes the adrenaline and emotion just takes over. He caught it. He's trained to go run into the end zone. So you can't blame a guy for that. But the Colts, they knew that was a dagger when that got overturned. And, okay, there's a chance that you miss a field goal and stuff like that. But the way Carlson's been playing, I don't know. It's an interesting discussion. I think it's a lot easier to say let them score when the team's within the 5-yard line or within the 10, deep in the red zone.
But it's all about killing clock too. You want to have enough time to go and answer that score. There would be, the Super Bowl where Ahmad Bradshaw looks like a small child, tumbling into the end zone. There are moments where you're like, let's just get the ball back. Who gives a shit about whether or not they score or not? We just need to, answer that score.
That was, I mean, I don't. I get that's an argument that someone's analytically going to be able to look at and really do the numbers on and see, what where your win percentage goes, whether it goes up or down, whether or not you let the team score. That being said, like, yeah, if you have a potent offense, or you think you do, and you think doing that gives your team the best chance of winning, then yeah, you're gonna want to start letting these guys score. That being said, I think it's so hard to, as a coach, if Frank Reich's a great coach, but I just think I don't know if there's that many coaches who with a straight face can still demand respect from their teams by telling them, we're going to let them score here.
Yeah.
Like I could see Belichick doing it.
He probably has.
He probably has.
I want to say Mike Holmgren did that in the Super Bowl against the Broncos in '97.
In '97, I'd have to go back and watch that, but he's the kind of guy who could do it. Pete Carroll is the kind of guy who has enough, equity built up that he can do that.
So let me ask you something. If a Brandon Staley type told his teams to do that, do you think that they would, go with it? Because he's had some questionable decisions this past year.
So I think his team would. Here's the thing. I think most teams are going to do almost every team's going to do what the coach tells them to do.
Well, yeah.
In general. So I think they would.
Unless you're Antonio Brown.
Unless you're Antonio Brown. We'll get into that. But I think you have to, because you don't want to get that rep of I don't do what the coach tells me, because that's not just, I just don't do what this coach tells me. Every coach is going to go, are you going to do what I ask you to do? If I put you in a position with Brandon Staley, I think they would do it. And with his luck, it
probably wouldn't pan out for him.
It wouldn't pan out for him. And then he'd go, I'd make that same decision every time. And that's the kind of brand of football we play around here. Like,
well, yeah, I want to get into that for a second, because Brandon Staley has been the most, I guess, progressive coach this season, where he says the right things, and he also makes ridiculous, judgment calls of going for it on fourth down, or not kicking a field goal, or not punting, whatever. But real quick, Alon, do you mind owning up to the bet? Because you're here.
Oh, yeah.
You lost the bet, and unlike Steven, you're a man of your word, and you're going to I'm
going to go get the chicken.
All right, go you go ahead and get the chicken. And he's going to owe up to the bet, as the classic thing that we did on this podcast at one point was to be men of our words and eat the chicken wings when we lose a bet. But Alon's going to do that. And I'm going to talk about this ridiculous thing that was brought up between the Raiders and Chargers this week with reporters. This reporter asked, so there's a scenario where if the Raiders and Chargers tie this game on Sunday, that both teams make it into the playoffs. And someone asked Brandon Staley whether or not that they should do this, whether or not it would be good for both sides to tie the football game and have both of them go into the playoffs. That is the most ridiculous thing to ask somebody. It's the dumbest thing to bring up to an NFL coach. Now, Brandon Staley, being, the guy that he is, was willing to listen to the question, but he should have told that reporter, are you out of your mind? He should have
what's that?
Okay, so I was just telling the audience, you saw earlier this week where the Chargers reporter asked Brandon Staley, we got there, red hot?
Yeah.
Nice. The reporter asked Brandon Staley, should the Raiders and Chargers tie this weekend so both teams make the playoffs? It's the most ridiculous thing. It's the second most ridiculous thing I've seen in the past 2 weeks. A reporter asked, next to the woman that keeps asking Bill Belichick, what's his New Year's resolution? But
what is his New Year's resolution?
He answered it. He answered the week later, and he was like, that's a personal question. I'm not going to answer that. But Brandon Staley, the guy that he is, was like, I don't think that's really, the mindset we want to go to a game. And yeah, what the fuck are you going to do on national TV on Sunday Night Football? Are you going to have Derek Carr and Justin Herbert trading kneel downs for 4 downs straight? Like, that's what we're going to do? We're just going to tie the football game and both teams go into the playoffs? You got to be out of your mind. So, you know how much I hate ties. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, no, I know you detest them ever since I've known you. Which is funny. Working in the Bay Area, kind of seemed we were always good for maybe one tie every couple of years between like the Niners and the Rams or something like that for a little while. Yeah, or one of those NFC West games. But so the first thing, because I went through the playoff machine and all New York Times playoff,
got it up right now.
That. Yeah, so I noticed that tie scenario, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to really talk about this to anybody I know."
To rely on that and to even bring that up.
Well, to bring it up, as a media member, I guess you have to. You're basically you're asking that question. You're like, okay, I hope I get some type of crazy answer. Either I get flamed for asking the question, which is awesome, great soundbite, or I get an answer like, well, all cards are on the table. Like, we'll play the board. But
okay. But do you think though that's a good look for you as a journalist going forward, like that you would be the guy or girl that asked that question, and you will always be remembered as that person in the press conference room that asked that question just to get a rise out of the coach?
I think a lot of media people do it. I would do it.
Hold on. How did you do the chicken and hot sauce here? Do you usually have chicken and you poured hot sauce on it?
I just put a ton of hot sauce on it. Yeah. It's mostly hot sauce, not a lot of chicken.
Oh, look at you. You're not even fazed by it.
I didn't have dude, I eat this stuff all the time. It's my favorite.
Well, next time I got to make it more challenging for you, Alon. Jesus.
So I was going to go to the store actually the other day, but I forgot. And I was going to get some like Carolina Reaper stuff. So I was at Sprouts and I was like, oh, it'd be fun to get like one of those Carolina Reaper chips.
Yeah.
And they don't sell them in the store, but
now you have to special order them or something.
Just special order them, but I'm going to get some like really good hot sauce for next time. That being said, so with the whole situation, I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if that's a scenario that does play out and both teams can make it if they just tie and either team
that's not going to happen.
No, I know it's not going to happen, but like, it's hard to argue. You can't argue that that's not game theory optimal. Like, that's the most optimal thing you could do for both teams, and you'd both make the playoffs. Now, that being said, that's not going to happen. That's not how football works, not how football players operate. It's definitely not how coaches or owners operate either. The one thing that's very interesting, though, is let's just say it did happen, right?
Okay.
It's not going to happen. Let's say it did.
Hypotheticals, Jim Harbaugh. We'll get to him in a second.
Hypotheticals. What does the league do? Like, they
pause the game and then they switch. They say, all right, we're flexing out of this game while it's happening.
And then what do they go to? The Bachelor or something? What does NBC have?
I mean, that's the only game going on at that time, so there's nothing they could do. It would just be a big fuck you to everyone watching. Like, it would just be terrible. So I'm not even going to have this conversation going forward. But I will tell you one of the more funny instances I remember of a situation where a tie was on the table of like a playoff scenario. New Year's Eve, 2006. The Denver Broncos are playing the San Francisco 49ers, and in order for the Broncos to make the playoffs, they have to beat the 49ers or they have to tie the 49ers. And I remember early in that game, Champ Bailey picked off Alex Smith and had a pick six. And you think the Broncos are making the playoffs. Then the game flips, and Jake Plummer or Jake Cutler, whoever's playing quarterback, throws 3 interceptions, and the game goes to overtime. And my dad's watching the game, and we're amongst family friends. And I'll never forget this. He starts like the wheels start turning in his head, and he's like, you know what Mike Shanahan's trying to do? He's trying to tie the game. He's trying to tie the game to still make the playoffs. This is genius. And a woman comes by that doesn't know my dad, is just a friend of the friends that we're hanging out with on New Year's Eve, and she comes by and goes, "Why would he want to do that? That's stupid, isn't it?"
That's worst person to say that to.
And my dad just loses it on her, going, "What do you know? You don't know anything about football. This is the perfect idea to do." I'm like, "Dad, you need to chill out, dude. Like, you're just yelling at random people."
That being, yeah. So I respect what your dad did. I mean, like that. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. I love that. But
my dad has never been hesitant to tell somebody you have no idea what you're talking about.
He told me that one time. But
did you stand for it?
I was just like, I'll let this one go. I'm still an intern. No, but
he tells me that every day, so it's all good.
Yeah, well, that's a good dad. That's what my dad does. You're usually right. But that being said, so like, yeah, the tie thing's not gonna happen. I do want to know, like, I just wonder, like, what is there, like a folder somewhere in Park Avenue in New York, like, and down in some basement, the NFL headquarters, like, what we do if this actually does happen? Like, how do we penalize the teams? Like, does Roger Goodell come out with his big hammer of justice that he loves to throw around, and does he take away draft picks? Like, that's an interesting conversation just in and of itself.
Well, it kind of happened last year, if you remember the Washington football team, who will not remain the football team. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
As Elena's going to join us at 4:00, Elena Mantzorkis, and we're going to have fun with different topics there, including the Washington football team's rumored new name. But last year, for the Sunday Night Football last regular season game of the year, the win-and-in scenario, it was Washington versus Philly. And I don't think Philly had any playoff chances. Philly had to beat Washington, and then the Giants make the playoffs and win the NFC East.
Yeah.
And it became a shit show because people were saying, is Doug Peterson trying to lose? Because he benched Jalen Hurts and put in Nate Sudfeld. And
I remember.
He was doing crazy things like not kicking field goals that would tie the game and going for it on fourth down and doing dumb shit. And I don't think it was necessarily that he wanted to bench Jalen Hurts. But people say like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. There's a part of me that thinks that Doug Peterson was told before the game, for this game has no, importance to us whatsoever. I'm sure Jeffrey Lurie told Doug Peterson, we need to lose this game for draft stock. And then it looked terrible in the process, and Doug Peterson became the fall guy, and he got fired. So this has happened before. I just remember the reaction of people last year just being like, what the fuck? Like, is Doug Peterson trying to lose this game on purpose? And then the Giants fans got angry, and Joe Judge, when he's not making phone calls to former players to come play for him, he was upset that Doug Peterson was having that display last year. But no, man, let's stop talking about the stupid tie thing, because it's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
Let's talk about the ways the Raiders what the Raiders will have to do in order to beat the Chargers. That's the best way to say it before I get tongue-tied. So what are some keys to a Raiders victory over the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football, where John Madden's family will light the torch before the game? I think it's fitting.
Great touch. I think probably the best torch lighting that the Raiders have had in Vegas. The only other one I can think of that it's not even close to this, but
Marcus Allen.
No, I was there for that.
Kidding.
But when they're in Vegas, when they invited the widow of Sheldon Adelson, who was instrumental in getting them here, to light the torch, I thought that was a good touch. But this is just huge, the family of John Madden. So what do the Raiders do to beat the Chargers? So obviously they're going to have to run the ball effectively, and probably everybody's going to say that. But there's some key matchups across the board that they have to win. So in the first game this season, Alex Leatherwood was playing right tackle. Denzel Good was right guard. Obviously, Good is out for the season, has been out for a while. Leatherwood's now at right guard. Brandon Parker's at right tackle. Brandon Parker's going to have to do a really good job against Joey Bosa. And I'm not so much worried about him in the run game. I think guys like Joey Bosa, you can actually run right at them if you want to. But in the pass game, he's going to have to stand up. He cannot get bull rushed. But I think the biggest matchup of the game for the Raiders running game is Andre James, the center, who's gotten a lot better. I mean, over the past, since I think week 7 or week 8, he's, if you care about PFF rankings, he's the 7th ranked center in the league. I think for both run production and pass blocking for sure. But he has to go against Linval Joseph. And if there's one thing, and Linval Joseph is 32, 33 years old. He's
up there in age.
He's past his prime in terms of athletic ability, but he plays nose guard. So he just has to take up gaps and make jobs easier for everybody else. Andre James has to do a good job blocking Linval Joseph. And the reason being is a lot of these smaller centers like Andre James, guys like that, they have trouble with some of these big 335-pound nose guards. So that's one thing. The other thing that the Raiders have to do, they ran a lot of double teams in the running game in the first matchup, and it was not effective at all. They were not executing them correctly. And the Chargers don't exactly stack the box. So there's some real opportunities here just to, hey, everybody mark a man and let Josh Jacobs just pick his hole, or whoever the running back is. I mean, it could be Peyton Barber. It doesn't matter. You just have to block it correctly. I think that's the most important part. Defensively, I think Max Crosby's going to have a good game. I think Yannick Ngakoue can definitely flash. But I think the most important players defensively for the Raiders are going to be whoever covers Keenan Allen in the slot. So you would think that'd be Nate Hobbs if he plays. If it's not Nate, I think Nate Hobbs is going to play. If it's not Nate Hobbs, it'll be Keyshawn Nixon, or it could be a combination of both. Merrick, I'd like to see him, finally come up with a big play, like an interception or something like that, because he's been solid all season. I know he had the blunder with Hayward last week, but the other thing, the two most important players I really think though are going to be KJ Wright and Divine Diablo. Corey Littleton is not even playing anymore, which I like Littleton's talent, but it's evident that he was really protected playing at that Rams defense behind Aaron Donald and all the guys they had on the defensive line. Divine Diablo is going to have to play really well, and so is KJ Wright, because they're going to play most of the snaps at linebacker. So I think those guys, I think KJ Wright needs to be smart, get everybody in position, which he's good at. He also needs to be a calming presence. And guys like Divine Diablo, who are just athletic freaks, from when he was at Vaughan Tech, he was amazing, and obviously got the Cam Chancellor comparisons because that's where Cam played as well. But he's a linebacker. So I want to see how he does in his zone coverage, because against the Broncos a few weeks ago, I know I'm kind of rambling, but against the Broncos a few weeks ago. Okay. Against the Broncos a few weeks ago, there was a play that really stands out where Jerry Jeudy, I think, was the farthest man out towards the sideline to start the play. And he ran an over route. It wasn't particularly deep, but Diablo tried to undercut it somehow or cut into it, and he totally left his own responsibility, and Drew Lock was just able to hit right behind him. So just things like that. You don't want to give Herbert any kind of easy reads, and I think the Raiders are going to have a really good game plan, but I think it all starts with the running game. I'm not particularly worried about Derek Carr, especially if he has Darren Waller back. The other matchup to watch is, real quick, Hunter Renfro against Chris Harris Jr. So you got the young up-and-coming slot guy versus the old veteran who's been one of the premier nickel cornerbacks pretty much his entire career.
Yeah. Do we know Darren Waller's status right now? He hasn't played since Thanksgiving Day. Okay, that's huge, because I have written down here he needs to play. Yeah. In order for them to make the playoffs, I think he needs to come back and play, because they've been playing well the last couple of weeks, but he gives them another added dimension. And I don't know if you can rely on Zay Jones to have the huge game that he had last week. You took the words right out of my mouth, Alon. Run the football. The Chargers have the 30th ranked run defense, and they have been susceptible to the run all season long. They've been better at times. They obviously held the Broncos to, I think, under 100 yards last week. So they at times have played well, but the Raiders' strength last week was running the football, and I think going to the playoffs, it's what they need to keep doing. The Chargers' right side of their offensive line with Storm Norton playing right tackle. I think they got to attack that right side. I don't know. Is it Yannick or is Max on the right side? I know they flip things up, but
they flip them. But usually, I think Yannick is going against the left tackle and Max is going against the right tackle. I think is usually how, that's usually how it works out.
And do you put a lot of stock into this Joey Bosa, Derek Carr thing?
No, I don't think it's a major factor for either team.
It's not. I've been listening to LA radio here. They're making it a thing. It's not a thing. Joey Bosa said some shit about Derek Carr after one game. Derek Carr doesn't really, get into that stuff.
No.
So I don't think it's that big of a deal. But Joey Bosa can wreck this game. I think he had a second against Carr. So if it's Alex Leatherwood blocking him, it's going to be is it Alex Leatherwood?
No, it'll be Brandon Parker.
It'll be Brandon Parker. You're right. So that'll be tough. That will be tough. But Derek Carr, I was telling Steven last week that this probably is the biggest game of his career, considering they had many chances to clinch a playoff berth in 2016. He didn't play in that playoff game. He won that game against the Chargers in 2016, the Slice of Blue game up in San Diego. But he hasn't. This is the first kind of playoff game that Derek Carr will play in. So it will be telling. He's been clutch at times before in the past, but this is where he needs to play his best football. And like Matthew Stafford, he can, throw picks early like he did last week against the Colts. But in the end, he makes the plays to win in the football game. I think in order to win this game, they need to have a clean game the entire time. No turnovers, no bad play. You don't need to score every time you have the ball. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but you need to have a clean game. And I will say this: we were talking about earlier how Brandon Staley is, one of the more riskier play callers as far as decision making in football right now. If the Chargers play that way, which I'm assuming they will because this is their playoff game, so why would they change anything? Like in a couple weeks before when they're playing the Texans, they were a little more conservative. If they are the team that they're going to play like all season long, going back against the Chiefs when they beat him up in Arrowhead, or all the games they've had this season, they've always gone for it on fourth down. They don't like punting the football. When it's fourth and manageable, they go for it. If they're going to play that style of football, you have to make them pay for it. You cannot let them convert those fourth downs. And that's how the Chiefs beat them at SoFi a couple weeks ago. So in order for the Raiders to win this football game, I will say on paper, the Chargers are a better football team. I'll admit that. But I think that there are many ways the Raiders can win this game. And I think I like their chances against the Chargers.
I agree. I think the Chargers are a more complete football team for sure. That being said, their run defense is so bad. I don't know what they would look like in the playoffs if they made it to the playoffs.
Well, I mean, would you say that in the playoffs, sometimes it's not really the better teams. It's based on the matchups. It's just the better quarterbacks sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Quarterbacks are like pitchers, so that's kind of how you have to look at them sometime. I mean, or a really good goalie in hockey. They just have so much impact on the game. I agree with that. It's just the thing is their run defense has been so bad. Obviously, they were able to shut down the Broncos. That's one thing the Raiders and Chargers have in common besides being in the same division. They've both been able to shut down the Broncos the last couple of weeks on the ground, which is admirable because the Broncos were rushing the ball pretty well over the past, 7 or 8 weeks. But I agree. If Staley's going to make these decisions to go for it, you do have to make them pay. And you can't – look, you give up 1 fourth down, all right. But you're almost guaranteed to get into a third down situation with the Chargers, with most football teams, obviously. Okay, get to fourth down, and then you need to – really, the mindset needs to be fourth down is really third down. Most teams are going to punt. This team's not. So it's okay to give up a fourth down or whatever on a drive because you know they're going to go for it again. And that's one of the big issues I have with the way Staley does things. Like, he gave away that win against the Chiefs at SoFi. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. He totally gave it away. And because, he stuck to his guns. I think one thing that the Raiders really have a great advantage on is if Waller plays, the Chargers are terrible at covering tight ends. And they don't really – it's interesting because you would think Derwin James might be the guy to kind of do that, but they don't use him that way.
They don't.
They will instead leave him deeper in a safety position and have a corner or someone try to, or even a linebacker, which is the worst case scenario, try to cover a tight end. And it's not a good recipe. But about the Chargers, they are a better team. There's no doubt about that. And Justin Herbert has played much better than, the passing yards are just about the same, but in terms of touchdown and point generation, Herbert's been a lot better. And the Chargers have been a lot better since Gruden and Ruggs have been gone from the Raiders offensively. But there's just the Raiders running game is getting really kind of efficient at the right time. They're starting to really feed Jacobs the ball, which is important. And I think the Raiders do have a slight advantage on defense. I think that their defense is really starting to play well. And I think Herbert's best chance to really try to gash them, he's going to have to go over the top. Yeah. But I don't know what that looks like. If he's under pressure, it's going to be really hard. But yeah, the biggest point, they're going to go for it on fourth down. You have to get stops. They can't be 50% on fourth down. If they're 50% on fourth down, the Raiders will lose the game. Yeah.
We'll pick this game later on, but let's talk about the other pivotal game with the Bay Area team, San Francisco 49ers, or I guess the lone Bay Area team now. But San Francisco 49ers playing against the LA Rams, and we don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play. It sounds like it's leaning towards Trey Lance, but nothing official yet. I guess they're waiting for Jimmy's thumb to attach or whatever they're talking about today. My dad was talking about it with Tim Ryan on their show.
Because it's like a crazy sprain.
Yeah.
It's basically ligament damage.
Yeah, it's significant ligament damage, and I guess the idea was that they were going to rest Jimmy in hopes that he comes back for this game, but it's going to be tough. And they say that this is a 4-month, recovery process for an injury like this. So, as far as the keys for Niners victory over the Rams, they just got to play like they did last time, honestly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a problem when you were so when your game plan stood out so well. It's hard to replicate that again. The Niners ran the ball however much it was, 46 times, and they ran it down their throat. Yep. And I don't think that's going to happen this time. The Rams' run defense has improved immensely since that time. They've become a more physical football team. That's basically how they've won in this 5-game winning streak. Matthew Stafford has been sloppy at times, giving away turnovers, but he's won them games in the end, throwing a touchdown pass or whatever. And the defense has kept him in the game, not having the opposing team benefit from his mistakes. So my suggestions for the Niners would be you got to force Stafford to make those turnovers and make him pay for it. You got to stop Cooper Kupp. I have no clue how. You do that. No clue.
That might be
whatsoever.
impossible.
Well, here's the thing. The Ravens did a pretty good job with that last week. They held him to 95 yards. But 95 yards and a touchdown is still pretty good. So, and Cooper Kupp is, I think, 12 receptions away from breaking Michael Thomas's record. And he's 100 and something yards away from breaking Calvin Johnson's record for most receiving yards in a single season. And I respect him for saying, with the extra week, I'm not really breaking any records. But he will if that happens. The Niners secondary, you and I have talked about it before, is horrendous. And they are not getting any better this week because that position group has been hit with COVID. So we have no idea who the hell is going to play. It'll probably be Josh Norman on these guys. And Sean McVay knows Josh Norman from his time in Washington, and he will go right at him. So I think this is going to be a mix. I can only speak for how the Rams will play this game because I know how the Niners are going to play this game. If it's Jimmy, they're going to try to run the ball and do the same thing they did last time. If it's Trey, probably try to do the same thing they did last time. My dad suggested today that it may be a mix of both. What if you have Trey start the game and you have Jimmy come in certain times when it's time to throw? I don't know if that's going to be helpful, but you could have a 2-quarterback system and then keep the defense on their toes. Or you just start with Trey, and then you start to see what's going on in the Atlanta Falcons game with the Saints and say, okay, you know what? If the Falcons are winning this game, let's rest Jimmy. A lot of stuff into play. Cam Akers is going to play, actually. This is incredible to me. He brings another dimension to their game they didn't have before with, running out of the shotgun and passes to him out of the backfield. The Niners, they got to stop Sony Michel in their running game. I honestly think everything based on the last 5 games that the Niners and Rams have played against each other would tell you that the Niners know how to kick the Rams' ass. Mm-hmm. But the Rams need to prove that they can beat the 49ers before they make the playoffs. They're going to play much harder teams in the playoffs. They're going to have to play either the Packers or the Bucks or the Cowboys or the Cardinals for a third time or any wild card team they're up against. They have to prove that they have overcome their demons against the 49ers and beat them. So it's simple as far as a recipe to me for the 49ers to beat the Rams, but I don't know if that's going to be an effective game plan given that it was so clear what they did the last time they did to beat them.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. It was so decisive, and it has been a lot of the times that the Niners kind of mollywop the Rams. So, yeah, it's really hard to just do the same thing and keep doing it. You got to think something's going to stop at one point or another. I don't know how the Niners can keep the Rams honest is I guess my biggest problem if Trey Lance plays, because I think the Rams will load the box up a bit more than they usually would, and they're really going to if Trey Lance plays, and they're really going to try to make him make some tough decisions. Now, did he look okay last week? Yeah, he did, but I mean, it was against not a good team. So I don't know. I really wish Jimmy Garoppolo would just play. Obviously, I don't have the thumb injury that he does, but I think of guys like Brett Favre who played with like a cast on his thumb, basically a soft cast. But yeah, I don't. The Rams do have to win this game, not in terms of they need it for the playoffs like the Niners do. That's not what I'm saying, but they need some positive. They need to keep the positive momentum going into the playoffs. Also, do you really want that hanging over your head? Like, we couldn't even beat one of our divisional rivals before the playoff starts, and then
The psychological thing.
Yeah, psychological thing. And Matt Stafford probably wants to get the taste out of his mouth of throwing some of these bad interceptions, and against the Ravens, for instance. The Ravens probably win that game if they weren't totally inept or unproductive on offense, right? I mean, let's just say Lamar Jackson's playing that game and everything goes the same. Pretty much things go the same exact way, except you get Lamar Jackson's level of quarterbacking rather than Huntley.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably winning that game if you're the Ravens. But I think the Rams, I don't know how the Niners are going to stop Cooper Kupp. That's one of the most important things. Cam Akers, he'll probably be on a snap count, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, he would be, but I mean,
you still have Sony Michel.
Yeah, you still have Sony Michel.
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson's not going to play in this game, but he'll be back for the playoffs. The Rams getting hot at the right time.
They are.
I know that Niner fans and the Niners themselves are not scared of the Rams. This is a different team than you played. No, they shouldn't be, but this is a different team than you played however long it was when Odell played in his debut. Yeah, I don't know because, like I said, the Niners secondary is depleted. Yeah. So if Nick Bosa is not getting to Matthew Stafford, I think he's going to have a long day just throwing the ball. But I think it's going to be set up with them running the ball mostly. I think they're going to, it's going to be a balanced attack of Sony Michel or Cam Akers, and then when they're able to take those shots, they will.
They do need to force Stafford into mistakes. The Niners
They do, and he needs to prove that he could play a mistake-free game for the first time, and I forget how many weeks long. But yeah, I don't know if the Niners can win this game given the circumstances. And people are going to say, of course you're going to say that, Derek. You hate the Niners. I'm being really objective here. Given the situation with Trey Lance playing in this huge game, if Jimmy was healthy, they definitely have a shot. I still think that they still have a shot with Trey Lance. It's much harder, but they have a chance. These teams know each other. But given the circumstances, and the Rams have so much more to lose than the Niners. I know it's the Niners don't make the playoffs if they lose this game or if the Saints beat the Falcons. But I don't know. Just the Rams have so much more to prove than the Niners, in my opinion. And I think the stakes are much higher for the 49ers. I get that. But given that they're all in and the perception that McVay can't beat Shanahan, I think that the Rams are not taking this team lightly at all.
I don't think the Rams. I think this might be Sean McVay's moment of, I'm finally going to get one over on you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Cal. And, but, that's probably his thought process. He's probably, we got to pull out all the stops. I bet you they have a Niner game plan. Obviously, there's a game plan for every single team in the league. You make tweaks and adjustments. But they've been thinking about this game, especially riding a winning streak. They're like, okay, let's put our chips in. Let's win this game. Here's the thing, though. The Niners just have the ability. I know they're only, 2-3 in the division?
Yeah, they got swept by the Cardinals, beat the Rams.
And they
got swept by the... So I think they're 2-4.
No, because there's six. Yeah, there's 6 divisions. I think they're 2-3 in the division. The problem is, it's just like,
I never was good at math, Alon.
No, that's okay. But okay, so here's some things. George Kittle comes back last week. He's their best receiver by far. I mean, I should say, he is their best receiver. Yeah, he's better than Deebo Samuel. He's their best. He's not their best weapon. but he's
I don't know
the
about
guy
that.
who always shows up to make a play. But the thing is like, is that same chemistry going to be there this week between him and Trey Lance? That's the thing. Like, it's so tough. If Jimmy Garoppolo was playing, I'd probably lean Niners, especially with all they have to play for. But Trey Lance has not had enough time, and I know we harp on this a lot, or I definitely do, but it's just it's such a tough position to put yourself in. And I know Trey Lance can do all kinds of amazing things. His arm is incredible. His toughness is out of this world. Like he can do things that Jimmy Garoppolo just could never dream of. But yeah, look, who's the more talented team? It's the Rams. Who's the healthier team? It's the Rams.
Yeah.
Who's got the better quarterback? It's the Rams. So like, how can you say that they shouldn't? Not they are the favorite, but how can you not say they shouldn't be an overwhelming favorite?
I agree. And the last time they played, it was just the Niners establishing that they are the more physical team. And if the Rams come in and show that they're the more physical team right away, I think it's done. And I think that if they stop the run with Trey Lance playing quarterback, if they hold Elijah Mitchell to a yard a carry, 2 yards a carry,
well, yeah,
they'll be out of their element. And if Jalen Ramsey's on George Kittle, it's going to be a hard day. So I'm not saying this is all gloom and doom. I do think the Niners have a very good chance of winning this football game, but I don't think it's as strong as in years past. So I would give the edge towards the Rams.
I agree. And this is going to be tough for Trey Lance because he's got two really like heady, cagey guys in that Rams secondary that he's going to have to throw against. He's going to have to throw the ball to win this game.
No, 100%.
There's a very good chance that the Niners don't rack up those rushing yards that they did last time, earlier in the season. But he's got Jalen Ramsey.
If that happens, then Raheem Morris should be, it's a failure. Like you have to know this time to stop the run.
You get fired, right?
Well, you don't get fired because I don't think you should be fired, but you got to take away what they did last time.
But he's got two guys he's going against really in the defensive secondary for the Rams. It's Jalen Ramsey, but X factor could be Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp could jump a route, and
they're the best of friends right now.
Yeah. But
Did you see what happened last week?
No, what happened?
Jalen Ramsey, I think, smacked Taylor Rapp in the face during a play.
Oh no, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, and then the Baltimore game, it was not good.
So some more of that like Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen kind of stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, Taylor Rapp's a very good player though, and so is Jalen Ramsey. And I wouldn't want to put my rookie quarterback in a position where he's got to throw against two guys who are ball hawks and just know the game inside and out.
Yeah. Well, we'll pick those games later on, but let's talk about some NFL headlines that happened today. And Alon, we talked about it last time on the podcast, Antonio Brown's spectacle that happened last week in the Meadowlands. Well, not the Meadowlands anymore, but
it's not there. Isn't it the same place?
Or wherever it is, MetLife.
Yeah, MetLife. There it is.
So since then, Bruce Arians said that Antonio Brown was he's no longer a Buck. It took a couple days. And then Antonio Brown releases a bunch of tweets last night or whatever, Instagram posts, I could care less, wherever it's from. And it's all about how he was told that if he didn't go back into the game, he's done with a throat slash from one of the coaches. He sends a text message to Bruce Arians saying, "Coach, I'm not 100%, but I'll give you all that I can." And he's making it seem like Bruce Arians forced him to play when it's clear on the text message. Talk to me, AB. We'll work this out. Then there's posts of him making fun of Tom Brady, the guy that was 100% behind him, supporting him, making fun of Tom Brady's trainer, Alex Guerrero, with the idea that Antonio is being set up just to pay $100,000 just to be a part of their TB12 program. And people are coming out saying, AB, he's right. He was pressured into playing and blah, blah, blah. Why didn't Bruce Arians bring this up immediately after the game? Why are we giving Antonio Brown the benefit of the doubt here? This guy's been given so many chances, and I'm kind of sick of it. And me and Steven talked about it there's a difference between mental health problems and being an asshole.
Oh,
And
100%.
the rumor is now that Antonio Brown, the night before the game, went to the Bucks and said, "I want to be given this amount of money and incentives," and he was denied that. So, reportedly, he brought some chick to the hotel, and who is she, Alon? You got her name earlier.
I got her pictures here. Ava Luis. She's looks like an Instagram model.
Oh boy. And apparently she's claiming that the night that Antonio Brown and her spent together, he told her, watch what I do tomorrow. So this was all premeditated, apparently. I'm not saying that she's a reliable source, but yeah, I think we're given too much. Like, for the most part, people are condemning Antonio Brown for his actions, but there are a few people that are like, oh, come on, guys, think about, you're being insensitive. Sometimes you need to be a little insensitive in this world today. Sorry. Like, we were to give this guy a bunch of chances after he just shows that he's a terrible human being over and over and over again. Sorry, I'm running out of it, and I'm of the belief that Tom Brady did feel sorry for him for a little bit of time after that spectacle he had last week, because Tom Brady wants Antonio Brown on the team. At the end of the day, Tom Brady's like, we got to win. I care less what Antonio Brown does, just as long as he's catching footballs for me. And so I'm sure after that spectacle, Aaron's just like, we got to cut this guy. And Brady's like, hold on. Let me talk to him. And then he pulls that shit last night where he calls out Brady, and now Brady's like, cut his ass.
Yeah. Well, Brady, you can't see. Here's the thing. So there's with some of these really elite sports athletes, they have people around them that they really like. And Alex Guerrero is Tom Brady's dude. You cannot talk shit about Alex Guerrero without ruffling the feathers of Tom Brady.
That's why he left New England.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, when Belichick was like, I don't really want this guy, all that stuff. But the Antonio Brown thing, I don't know how reliable Miss Luis is, but, I mean, they had been talking, I guess, on and off for the last 4 years, which means that Antonio Brown was talking to a woman who was 19 when he was 29. But that's beside the point. I don't know. Like, give the guy chances, sure. But is Antonio Brown, ever once shown any sort of, I don't want to say remorse because, that implies that you're guilty of things or whatever. But has he ever shown, a modicum of, you know what, I got to be a better me. I got to be better at being a teammate. Maybe in the first year in Tampa, but I don't know. It's so interesting because he's supremely talented. He's the kind of guy who could put up Jerry Rice numbers because of, he's durable. That's number one. He's fairly durable, and he's really, really talented. But you can't keep cutting him slack. And what you said about the mental health asshole thing, it's so true. Obviously there's people with, who have different things that are going on and they got to get therapy or whatever the case is. And I worked in psychology for 7 years as a counselor and all that. I'm not a psychologist. I was training to be one, but and going to school to become one. But that being said, I've been around both sides where I'm like, okay, you do really have some stuff going on. And then I've been around other people where I'm like, no, you're just a dick and you need to work on some things. I don't know Antonio Brown personally. I bet he's a really personable guy. I bet he's great to hang out with. I think that's why his teammates like him. But in terms of football is a sport, it's not war. But my dad's a Marine and he told me this. He said, look, that's the guy who, you're going into battle and he's like, I'm out of here. It's just, I'm not feeling it. And I'm going to make a spectacle of it. I don't know. You just can't do that. You can't let your brothers down like that. And he did. And they cut him. I think it's weird that they waited a little while to cut him, which tells me maybe there was a glimpse of hope where they were maybe trying to mend things to keep him around, which obviously he's so talented where you should want to do that. I mean, I'm not saying you excuse everything he does. And some people say, well, Lon, if you let him play or you try to keep him around, you are excusing him. I'm like, no, this is a game about winning. And when you're paying someone to do something, you want them to stay around rather than leave and have to avoid all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But no, he's burned every bridge he has. I don't I'm not going to say his NFL career is over because a lot of people have.
No, the team could pick it up and pick him up, and I would not be the least bit surprised for the playoff run.
I wouldn't either, and
they shouldn't. But
they shouldn't. Yeah, they shouldn't, but they might. And he's a mercenary. That's what Antonio Brown is. He's a mercenary, and I think he kind of got his fill in Pittsburgh and was just like, all right, I think I know my value and what I can demand and all those kinds of things. And he's, Mr. Big Chest. He's flexed, the entire time.
Forgot about that.
And kind of real interesting because, he went to Central Michigan. Oh, yeah, I didn't watch him play. I'm not going to act like I watched a bunch of Central Michigan football. But it's weird because there were no reports of him, being hard to get along with or a bad teammate in Central Michigan. There was none in Pittsburgh until the very end. And then all of a sudden he gets older and boom, 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 boom.
Well, people claim that the boom came from Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah. And that, so I heard you and Steven talk about that. And I've heard other people say that too, where it's like, Vontaze Burfict may have changed that guy's life with a hit. And I'm like,
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I'm not going to speculate whether he has some type of damage or whatever. Okay, yeah, guy's taking hits in his career, but at the end of the day, I think it's this. I think he wants his money, and rightfully so. Everybody should want their money. But he just doesn't get it. He does, you know what? If this was preschool, does not play well with others.
Yeah.
If things are going his way, it's great. If just one little thing is off or whatever, it's like, oh, here we go. Shit, the shit's gonna hit the fan.
But he never seemed like he loved football, and he even said that.
He did.
Remember when he had the yellow mustache? And he was saying I don't need this shit. It's always been about, am I getting my incentives? Am I getting my cash? And hey, listen, we all like to get paid. I'm not knocking that.
No.
But if that's the end all be all to you in a game with other 51 men, then you're not gonna last.
No,
we're already playing games here. Just go to the general manager and be like, I need these incentives. To go to Mike Mayock and be like, you're not paying me because I didn't do this walkthrough. All this other shit that he's had problems with GMs over the years for not getting his money. Look, I understand that he has an issue with Bruce Arians for making him play through an injury or whatnot. I never heard these issues with Mike Evans, never heard these issues with Chris Godwin. It just always seems to be with him. So, in my opinion, I think Antonio Brown's been a good boy up until now, where he's taking his pills, and now recently he forgot to take his pills, and he's went crazy again. Sorry, but that's just what I think.
He's off the deep end right now in terms of professionally what he wants to do.
Yeah. And it's not the smartest thing to release your account information when you're going like, "Hey, Alex Guerrero screwed me. Here's my routing number, people." So best of luck to him going forward in life. I don't think it'd be right for him to get another chance in the NFL, but I'm also realistic in the world we live in. So we'll probably see him again on a football field because he's that talented. But for you to call out Tom Brady, the guy that let you into, I'm sure Giselle was floored when Tom Brady's like, "Come and stay at my house."
Yeah. Where my kids live.
Exactly. Whatever.
Hey, that's Uncle Big Chest over there.
Yeah, exactly. It's old Brady bunch with Alice in the middle, aka Antonio Brown.
One more quick thing about this too. So how you had said, we both alluded to, you can't act this way when you got 50 plus other guys relying on you, and then not that doesn't even count the coaching staff. But you know what? Guys like that, man, it's too bad Antonio Brown plays football because he's like, I don't need this shit. Well, guess what? Football doesn't need you either. That's not how this league works, and that's really not how the sport works. It's too bad for him. Maybe if he could do it all over again, he may have picked an individual sport, because then it's just all about you, and it's on you, and you're the only person that you rely on, which is fine. But it's not. It's going to be tough, and I agree with you. I don't know if he should be signed again, but I'm not going to say he's not going to. He probably will.
Real quick on this, I forget the writer's name, but we saw it. The guy that called out Aaron Rodgers in the interview where he was saying, "I'm not voting for him because he's a bad guy," or whatever the hell. And then Aaron Rodgers came back with, "He's a bum." This is what I'll say about that. I forget the reporter's name. He's not even worth my time to mention, but I'll say this. sports writers these days, he's not the only one. Sports writers these days play favorites, and they have their agendas. And this guy had a problem with Aaron Rodgers not being vaccinated. And for him to acknowledge that and not to vote for him for most valuable player, you can think what you want about him as, in regard to not doing that, and we all have our stances on that, but to not acknowledge that he's been the best player this season, you can make the argument that it should be Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp, but just to say that it's because he's a bad person. Aaron Rodgers is not a bad person. I don't agree with him on his stance of not being vaccinated, but he does donate a lot of money to charity. He does acknowledge things going on in our world today. He's not a bad person. But I also say to Aaron Rodgers, why are you acknowledging this guy? In the press conference, he's a bum. He's a bum. Dude, you're so much bigger than that. Just be like, yeah, I could give a shit.
He could have just been like, "Who are you?" And that would have been a slight too, like Thanos, like, "Who are you again?" Kind of thing. But yeah, no, there's a lot of sports writers, and it's one of the problems with our industry, sports media in general. There's just so many people who are like, "This is going to be my thing, where I, carve my niche out, and then I ascend because of this." And I
take Aaron Rodgers down. I'll be the first one to do it.
Yeah, I got him, and it's like, okay, well. All right, fine, do what you will, but then to come out and say I'm not vote if you actually have a vote and you're going to say I'm not going to vote for you because of this, well, guess what? Your vote should be revoked or whatever paper you work. Yeah, it probably will be.
It was a Chicago publication, so he already had a bias against him.
Yeah, this is not if this was baseball Hall of Fame voting, I'd be like, well, that's the most. I already think it's ridiculous how there's the whole character thing in baseball Hall of Fame voting that kind of goes on. But yeah, I mean, this is an MVP vote. Yeah, there's other candidates, but then just to come out and be like, I'm not because you're a jerk. Also, you're a bad guy, bad person. And the thing is like what you mentioned, Aaron Rodgers gives a ton of money. Like, it's so funny. Everybody loved Aaron Rodgers before this whole thing happened. And this has all been talked about ad nauseum. Yeah. But has he ever done anything wrong, like legally? No, not that we know. Has he been pretty cordial and nice to everybody besides maybe his own family? Who that's fine. I get that. Sometimes there's people who are like, I can't be around my family. I just can't. Yeah. So like he's to call someone a bad person. Like what is this? Like I don't know. You shouldn't even be. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but like write the damn story. Write the freaking story or talk whatever you have to talk about or go on TV. Just do your damn job. Don't start throwing ad hominem bullshit at people and saying, someone is bad and all. Yeah, give me a break.
We're in a time where sports writers are not and sports personalities are just not being objective these days.
No.
Where they hold things against people, and it's one thing, like, if you have a problem with, certain things, but at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge if someone's good or not. You can't hold it against them. Like, I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan, but I'll, if he's deserving of MVP, I'll give him the MVP.
Yeah, I don't look. Henry Ruggs, bad dude, did a really bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm not going to say he didn't have elite speed and a good ability to grab the ball. Like, that's totally different because he committed a crime, but like. Yeah, I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan, and because I think he's kind of a mercenary, which he is, and I kind of think the way he goes about things is I don't know, it's kind of childish sometimes. But like that being said, for me to be like he's not one of the best players of all time, that's ridiculous. Of course he is. There's people who don't like Steph Curry, not because of his person. Oh, there are some people who don't like Steph Curry because of his person. He's too nice. He's too
because of his mouthpiece. People hate him chewing on the mouthpiece.
Chewing on the mouthpiece. But there's people, there's that group of people, and I don't know if they're still around, but they would say things like, "Oh, well, all he does is shoot threes," or he's kind of exploiting the game. It's like, well, I mean, them's the rules, and he's playing the game by the rules. Like, you can't just say someone's bad. Whatever.
Yeah. Who do you remember working at 95.7 The Game and the Fox Sports guy that would be on the weekends that had like the thick New York accent that hated Steph Curry that we would have to listen to sometimes on the weekends?
I do remember that. I don't remember who that host was, but
I remember his
did.
name, but he would always be,
hated him.
"How could you like Steph Curry? Oh my God, he's so annoying with the mouthpiece. Dear God."
Yeah, he'd be like, he has no post-up game. He's not Patrick Ewing. And I'm
Exactly.
like, well, no, duh. He's 6'4".
Maybe our next guest will remember who that is. Joining us now is the best, Elena Matsarkis. What's up, Elena?
Hello.
Nice chair.
Hi.
Sitting in your lair.
In my throne.
Yes.
What's going on? That's awesome.
Alon, nice to see you.
It's been forever, Elena. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. And really awesome chair. I really dig it.
Thanks. I decided to move into my bedroom because in my studio it's really dark, and turns out it's dark in here too.
Either way.
But at least I have a throne now.
And now you don't have to tell Zach he can't use the bathroom like last time.
I know. He had to go pee behind CVS last time.
Wait, behind the building?
Yeah, like back where the loading stuff is.
Some poor guy's on his break back there. Just
my
smoking a
studio
cigarette.
is the room right before the bathroom, and I'm like, no, get out. I'm in the middle of a very important podcast.
Yes, we're talking about couples pooping. Please leave. So Elena is our first two-time guest, and we're glad she's here because we're all going to talk about one of her favorite players, and one of our favorite players, Klay Thompson, coming back.
Yay!
He's slated to come back on Sunday, and we haven't seen him come back in over 900 days, however long it's been. But Elena, your thoughts on Klay coming back?
I have been so excited for this for how many years? Too many years. And last year, when he got injured right before we were able to see him debut, it was devastating. I didn't even watch as much basketball because I missed Klay. And now I'm really excited for him to come back. Although, like you said, I'm not sure about the timing.
Okay, so Steven was giving me shit about this on the last episode. So, Alon, you're probably with me. So the Warriors, we know, always want to make a big spectacle out of everything. And a splash, yes. And they have always said that they want to do this right by having Klay Thompson come back at the right time. And the right time is at Chase Center amongst their fans. Even though if you watched the game last night, Jeff Van Gundy was like, who cares when he comes back? It should be whenever. But I get it. They want to have a nice ovation for him. And I trust Steve Kerr. If he's ready to go and he's good to start, then that's Steve Kerr's decision. I hope. But I have to say, and I could be 100% wrong on this, I love that Klay Thompson's coming back. I've missed him for so long. He's a fantastic player on both ends, being offensively fantastic and defensively fantastic. We'll see if he still holds up the defensive part. But it just feels to me that doing this on the last day of the NFL season just sucks all of like the importance of it. Like this would have led Sports Center. This would have been the biggest thing in sports. Klay Thompson coming back for the first time in 2 years. And this won't lead anything. This, whatever happens in the Niner game, whatever happens in the Raider game, whatever happens all in week 18 of the NFL season is going to overshadow Klay Thompson's return. And I know the Warriors may act like they don't care, but I think it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. So it's interesting. I don't know why. I get it. They want to have him at home and all that, but like they could have had this on Tuesday. Tuesday they're playing the Grizz, and that game instantly would have been put, if it's not already on TNT, instantly would have been put on TNT.
Yeah, it would
have been. And like you said,
no football that night and anything.
No football. There's nothing else to worry about. Sunday's weird too. It's just a weird basketball day, especially when there's football on, obviously. But yeah, I don't get it. Maybe they're just trying to look. Maybe they're trying to steal the thunder of everything else that's going on. Maybe they really think that this will still lead Sports Center, even though the NFL playoffs are basically beginning.
Even locally, they're going up against the Raiders game. So
the Niners. Oh, Niners is on Saturday. Sorry,
not locally anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, but a lot of Raiders fans obviously are still here in the Bay Area. So that's what kind of got me. And yeah, right at the end of the day, after all these playoff implications are going to unfold for the NFL, I mean, maybe some people are still like, yeah, I'm going to watch the next game, but there's also going to be the Raiders game. So how are you going to see every minute of it? And even though Clay probably won't play every minute, but
No.
I'm a little bummed. I mean, I'm still going to choose Warriors over anything, especially Clay's return, but that's because I'm more Warriors over NFL. But it's like the first week 18 ever. Yeah. So, well, whatever. We should still focus on the positives.
I know, and I'm going to be positive because I love Klay Thompson, and we were talking earlier, Elena, about Antonio Brown and how everyone's saying you have to respect his mental health, and we're like, yeah, but sometimes mental health doesn't give you the excuse to be an asshole.
No, and so many chances for him too.
Exactly, and the real examples of mental health, in my opinion, or bad mental health, has been the shots we've seen of Klay Thompson on the bench for 2 years now, just sad. And Steph Curry trying to pep him up, and him having the towel over his face to, presumably cover his tears because he's crying, and him, trying to clear his head when he goes on the boat, which it's all goofy and everything. We love it, but it's also him kind of having a little therapy session.
Definitely.
So I think that I can't wait for this, but it just the timing seems terrible, and I'm also kind of being selfish because I won't be able to see this because I have to work during the Warriors game. I'll record it because it's going to be on NBA TV, and so I'll watch it back. But
the best broadcast in the business on NBA TV.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not Spiro Adidas. Actually, he's okay. But I love the Warriors. But obviously something has changed over the last few years. They want to be bigger and better, and obviously that comes with the territory of winning, 3 championships. But their mentality has been, we're bigger than most things in sports right now. And I would hope that they don't think that they're going to outdo the NFL. I really hope that. They're not stupid. But I think it's also just their mentality. And again, they were going to do this whenever they wanted to. But it's also kind of just being like, yeah, we're the Warriors. We're going to have Klay Thompson come out the night of the NFL, and we'll see who does better. The NFL will. But let's just focus on the positive. I've gone off on this for too long, and I'm being negative. But, Klay Thompson. He's going to start up against the Cavaliers, who apparently are good now. Just thoughts and feelings, Alon, of Klay Thompson coming back for the first time in 2 years.
I'm so stoked for it. He's been my favorite player on the Warriors since they drafted him. I love Thompson. I love his attitude. I love just everything about him. I think he's totally cool. He's maybe the coolest cat in sports. Right? If there's
he's the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas.
Isn't he the coolest guy in all of sports? Who would you want to hang out with? Well, Klay Thompson probably be the person. I'd be like, yeah, he probably doesn't want to hang out with me, but I'd hang out with him. But
he'd probably hang out with you.
Yeah, he probably would. I mean, I don't know, take our dogs on a walk or something. But anyway, I'm super
Rocco.
excited.
We'll see Rocco again.
Yeah, yes. I'm super excited for him to come back, and I don't know, the Warrior fan base has been missing that. I've definitely been missing it. Steph Curry's for sure been missing it. Mm-hmm. But I'm bummed too because I'm not going to get to watch the game live. Be at the Raider game. Yeah, so I wish it was on that Tuesday because
I'll just be me.
Well, I'm going to record it too.
Elena will be the only person watching the game.
Are you going to the game, Elena? Are you going to go?
Oh no, I'm afraid to sneak in. Sorry, I'm terrified.
Don't blame you.
As someone who's taken 2 COVID tests this week, I'm staying home.
I feel it. But it'll be nice seeing Klay again. Elena, have you watched the Warriors recently in the last few games?
I didn't watch last night, but I followed a little bit on what was going on, and disappointing. Hopefully they can bounce. Is Steph going to play tonight? They said he was likely out, right?
Yeah, he's not playing tonight. It looks like.
That's probably he needs to be better by Sunday. That's the most important thing to me. We need to have the Splash Brothers back. So if he's got a contusion, rest up. Let's have the Sunday spectacle, splash spectacle.
Ooh, I like that. Ooh, yes. Good marketing.
Thank you.
Tell Raymond Ritter about this.
Get him on the horn.
And also the Warriors love using the use of the word contusion for all of their injuries.
Of course.
Yes.
What does he have? A knee contusion or something? Because I know he's not playing.
He bumped knees with somebody last night, and he's been off a little bit. He didn't look great last night.
The old bump in the knees.
The old bump in the knee, and
water on the knee.
Yeah, the Warriors were limited to 82 points, so it wasn't great. But yeah, we'll see what happens on Sunday when the Splash Brothers are reunited. And I'll be interested to see, you know, they started doing the thing with Jordan Poole where he's coming off the bench now, which is, I think, good because Steve Kerr is getting everybody ready for it. And if Steve thinks that Clay's ready to start, then let's do it. I would have had Clay come off the bench, but that's just me. Steve knows a lot more about basketball than I do. So
and about managing egos.
Yes. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see this happen on Sunday up against all the football. But real quick, Elena.
Yes.
Do you feel conflicted at all with the Raiders being on the verge of the playoffs too with this win and game?
I've been conflicted about the Raiders every time I watch them play the last few years. I'm annoyed with them, and then I end up rooting for them, and then when they win, I'm like, yay! But then I'm like, aw. But then when they lose, it's kind of nice to be like, no, I don't care anyway. It's kind of like a defense mechanism you put up.
Yeah.
Like if they lose, I don't care as much as I used to, but then I still care. I'm just like, it's just little things that I do to protect my little heart because it can't take much more.
I completely understand. And isn't it fitting, Elena, that we have this win and in game for the Raiders, and it's the same team they went up against 10 years ago in the game that I hate the most.
I was thinking of you in that Tebow game.
Yes.
In 2011.
Yes. Yeah. It was Carson Palmer's first year, and all they had to do was win that game, and Tebow would have made the playoffs. We have forgotten all about Tebow. And in the end, the Raiders lay a big, fat, stinky egg, and they lose to the Chargers, and the Broncos go to the playoffs, and Hugh Jackson got fired. You remember it well, right, Alon?
I was at that game.
So was I.
Yeah.
And weren't you trying to stop the chant or something?
I was in the crowd.
You were in the crowd.
I was in the crowd. And this is back in the days where
you were Greg a man Papa's of the people.
Greg Papa's whole family went to Raider games. And I was wearing a Carson Palmer jersey, which for now I don't know where that is. I probably ripped it off after the game. And we got the update on our phones that the Broncos lost the Chiefs. I want to say 7-3. And I was like, whew, thank God. So I scream out in the crowd, the Broncos lost. We have a chance now. And some guy in front of me just turns around and goes, dude, look at the fucking scoreboard. And it just killed like the whole vibe of just like, oh, we're going to lose. We're not going to the playoffs. And then my dad's kids made fun of me because I was upset.
Your dad's sad. Kids, like your siblings?
Yes. That's what I refer to.
Yeah, why do you call them? Yeah, I was like, what's you're your dad's kid.
No, I know, but in that circumstance, I didn't feel close to them.
You had to Aaron Rodgers them. You had to disconnect a little bit.
Oh.
No, I still love them, even though they made fun of me that day.
That game was rough. I was at that game, and that was
terrible.
Me and my brother were there. I remember that game like so vividly, and I remember like being so amped up and going, and I was just like, yeah, it was bad. I was at that game. I was also at a game where Tebow beat the Raiders too.
Yeah, that was ugly. But let's stay positive, and I'm glad that Klay Thompson is coming back because it kind of gives us hope to a time where things were better. If you remember the last time Klay Thompson played, it was 900 days ago. And it was when he tore his ACL, unfortunately, against the Raptors in Game 6 of the 2019 playoffs or finals. And times were better back then. We were all working together. We all had fun.
We didn't wear masks.
Yeah, we didn't have to. Yeah, COVID. Basically, what I was saying is COVID wasn't a thing. So the last time we saw Klay Thompson play on a basketball court, times were better all around.
The world was normal.
Yeah, the world was normal. We didn't have COVID.
We didn't know we had it so good.
We didn't know we didn't have so good.
I thought the world was ending because the Warriors were going to lose to the Raptors, but turns out the world was going to end in a few years for a whole different reason.
Exactly. Wait, Alon, were you still working with us back then, or did you leave before that?
I left like 3 or 4 days before that. No, about a week and a half before that. Maybe 2 weeks.
You listening to the games
blame
after
you.
the loss.
I was
Very
well.
hard.
I was the lead highlight editor for those radio broadcasts, and I was just like, I'm out of here. Like we got so many other people now. Like I just
Sorry,
guys,
RC.
I'm so sorry, but yeah. But okay, so like the world was better, but Klay Thompson's coming back, so maybe that's like a sign. Like maybe it's all been Klay the whole time.
Maybe it has.
Maybe
Clay's
when
been
he
the
had
cause for COVID.
well, no, that's not no. But when he had to step
COVID
back,
decay.
all his positive vibes left, and now we're gonna have all that positive
true.
energy now.
We all need to be a little more Klay in our lives.
I agree.
Yes.
We all need to get a little Roscoe in us. Or
Yeah, there you go.
Rocco.
Yeah.
I think that Greg called him Roscoe.
Oh, Greg. Yeah. Greg always won. Yeah. When it's time to get like good on defense, it's time to get Rocco.
Get Rocco out.
He didn't realize that an English bulldog is like really nice.
No. Yeah. He also didn't realize that it was a reference to Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life.
A great
Is that
show.
what it is?
Yeah. I want to say, didn't Clay name his dog after that show?
I don't know. I love that show, but I
It
didn't
was
know
a great
that.
show. Spunky? Yeah, times were better. And actually that led that night was one of the worst moments of my fan interacting.
Did you get a night sunburn?
No. Yeah, every Warriors parade, old Derry P would get a sunburn. But no, that was the night. Did I ever tell you the story, Elena, where I threw the water bottle at the fan?
I don't know. I mean, you probably
Okay.
did, but I don't remember. So
Okay. Alon, did I ever tell you the story?
No, you threw a water bottle at a fan?
Yeah, I told the story before with so Whitley was there with me. We had credentials for the Warriors,
Oh, God.
and we were sitting in the media section, and there was this. It was the same night, and everything was bad. So Klay Thompson got hurt.
Was
We
it
all
an
knew Katie
away
was gonna
game?
leave.
So was it like a watch party?
No. This was Game 6, so they were in Oracle.
Okay.
It was the last game in Oracle too.
I was in Greece. I don't know. It was really early where I
remember.
was.
Yes, I remember. You had to watch all the games at 4 a.m, right?
It was really rough, but I did
Yeah.
it, and then I lost.
That's dedication right there.
It is dedication. So we're gonna lose the game, and there's been this obnoxious Raptors fan just talking shit the whole game, just nonstop. And Whitley's eating some French fries, and I'm sitting next to her at the game in the media section.
Sounds good.
And this guy proceeds, for whatever reason, because I keep like staring at this guy because he's annoying the crap out of me. So he comes over to us and he like gets up in my face and Whitley's face and is just like pointing us, going, fuck you, Warriors lose. And he proceeds to start to take Whitley's fries. And I just lost it. So I threw my Dasani bottle at him.
That he deserved.
Yeah.
That's chivalry, Derek.
Did you get in trouble since you were in the media?
Let's just say I'm glad that was my last outing as a media member with the Warriors. Because that could have been bad. That could have been really bad if someone got a video of that.
You really have to behave when you're in the media section.
You do, and me and
It's
John
hard
Dickinson.
as fans too.
Yes,
you have to pretend like you're not a fan.
Exactly. Like me, John Dickinson was on with us a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how I didn't handle myself, and I didn't handle myself in the best ways back then. But yeah, I blame it all on Clay's injury. No, I'm kidding. So yeah,
I didn't know there were rude Canadian people.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. So yeah, it'll be good to see Klay Thompson come back on Sunday, and everything will be right in the world again.
And I'll be watching it live.
Yes.
Well, on whatever my streaming delay might be.
Yeah.
I'm poor.
So Elena, I wanted you to come on because I know you love Klay Thompson. We all love Klay Thompson, but I wanted to bring up some other things with you that are going on in the world of sports and other things.
Okay.
So Elena, you love rodents.
Yeah. Specifically rats.
Yes, you're more of a rat person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you own any rats currently?
No, just like I was trying to find my little finger puppet of a rat, but I don't know where he is. I think I might have left it in my studio from last time.
All good.
But I don't have any live rats, but I even thought about getting one today. I think about it all the time, but then I don't want to clean its cage.
I feel it. Alon, you a rat guy?
No, but I mean, I don't mind them.
Yeah.
I just don't have one. I have a dog. My dog would probably eat the rat.
Mm.
Fair enough.
You have to keep them
I am not a rat person.
Yeah.
I'm not really a rodent person either. I'm not into gerbils and all that stuff.
What about squirrel?
No, because my roommate at Arizona State apparently would dine on squirrels as a Boy Scout. Anyway,
that's your roommate's problem.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem.
Not the squirrel's problem.
Yeah,
like
but
Michael
I've
Myers
the
stuff.
squirrels ever since. Well, there's a rumor going around. So the Washington football team is changing its name on Groundhog Day. And that will be the official unveiling of their new team name. And it's also coinciding with them having just a terrible PR moment where, did you see this, Elena and Alon, where the stands fell apart and fans fell?
Almost killed Jalen Hurts.
Almost killed Jalen Hurts, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was a bad moment. And then the day after that, they were like, "We're naming the team. We have a new name. Forget about that. We're not going to be called the football team anymore. We're actually going to have a name." And the rumor is that Washington is going to change its name to, this is the scuttlebutt. They're going to change that name. I also love that word. They're going to change the name to the Washington Groundhogs. Yes, they're going to be the Washington Groundhogs, and I wish I could show you guys the logo that has been leaked, but I can't. I
have it.
Are you able to do share the screen?
Yeah, I think I can. Let me just pull it up again because I was looking at it today.
It's an angry groundhog with fangs, and I don't know what you guys think, but if that's the actual name of Washington's new team, I don't know if people are going to be intimidated by a vicious rodent like that.
How do I share screen?
What do you think, Elena?
Okay, I love it. Who needs to be intimidating when you can be fuzzy and cute?
It's true.
Okay, so my initial, like the new computer generated like graphics and you're watching on TV, or I think actually it was live. Like, like when the panther like jumps on the screen, like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like before the game, to this panther like jumping around the stadium.
Yeah. Oh, like in Carolina? Yeah.
Yes. Could you imagine like a little groundhog coming out of the middle of the 50-yard line and like being ferocious? Like,
just jumping on the Jumbotron?
Yes. No, but actually coming out of the, and they could have like little mounds around the field on the sideline. They pop up. They say, little more summer.
Yeah, and everybody
Bill
seems
Murray
to think
maybe would come to the games more often.
That's true. All right, here we go.
He's
Alon's
a
got
Chicago
it.
fan, huh?
Do you guys see it?
Oh, ferocious.
This is it. For the podcast audience, so the people watching, it's the Washington Groundhogs, and it looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of thing with fangs and a menacing-looking groundhog.
I got the lowest res version too. So I'm already making it look bad.
He's got a good furrowed brow.
Yeah. What do you think, Alon?
Piercing blue eyes.
I mean, I don't. It's fine. Like the logo looks good, but okay, I get the hogs thing, but like,
the
groundhogs.
Well, yeah.
Like, okay, imagine this when they're losing, right? When they're losing, it'll be every announcement. Well, Groundhog Day all over again. For the Washington Groundhog. It's the same reason why they did it, because some people are like, they should be the Washington Generals. I was like, oh yeah, the jokes are going to fly there because of the whole
stupid as hell
Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah, it's so bad, and the same thing's going to happen here.
Yeah, I don't know about this, and sorry, Elena, were you going to say something about this?
I mean, at least it's not racist.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
Groundhog with bad optics.
That's the one positive point about this. But yeah, it's an ode, I guess, to when they were the Hogs in the 80s. They were the Hogs in the 80s because Joe Bugle referred to his offensive linemen as a bunch of fat hogs. So I don't know, I guess they just don't want to be called the Hogs. They want to be the Groundhogs. I don't know if there's any correlation with groundhogs in Washington. But this is not official either. This is just the rumor that's going around, and we don't know if this is true or not. But if this is true, Elena's on board. I don't know if I'm on board.
Well, it's not like it's your team you have to root for. You can just laugh at it.
Yeah, I know.
Washington football team anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Football team's kind of growing on me, though. It's kind of like a soccer thing.
Okay.
So there are groundhogs in Washington, D.C. and in Maryland.
Ah.
They're very active. And
Where is the groundhog that we look at on Groundhog's Day?
Poxitani, Phil?
Poxitani?
Oh yeah.
Where is that? Indiana or something?
No, it's in wherever it is, where the movie takes place.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's in Washington, D.C.
Maybe it is. I don't know. Okay, well, whatever. If the Washington football team names them the Groundhogs, good luck to them.
Oh, wait. Is there, both of you, are there any names that you would have rather done or monikers that you would have rather picked?
What about the hoagies? They could be the sandwiches. It's kind of close to hogs.
It's kind of yeah, because like if you eat a lot of hogies, like someone
Russell
could call you a
Westbrook
hog.
would cheer them on.
Yeah.
I think he looks like a sandwich. That's why.
The Washington Hoagies, they're ready to eat on and off the field.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it just would have been good if they were just called the Hogs. Like if they were just like pigs.
Like Razorbacks or something.
Too.
Yeah.
I know. Elena's a big pig fan.
Like Babe, Pig in the Big City.
Oh,
More Gordy.
Alon, are you familiar with the pig Gordy?
I've heard the name Gordy. I don't remember, but
Okay.
I know of the Gordy reference. I don't know what Gordy is though.
Okay.
He's a pig. He's
Yes.
cute. Similar to Babe, but better. That's
So-
all.
Babe.
Yeah, this is a big thing that me and Elena would get into when we were working together. So, in the 90s, there were rival movies of Babe the pig and Gordy the pig.
Oh, the Disney movie.
Yes.
Came out the same year, but Gordy just gets overlooked. So we like to show Gordy a little extra love because he saved a life of a kid drowning in a pool. All
He
Babe
did.
did was herd some sheep.
Exactly. Agreed. And then they came out with Big Babe Pig in the City, and that was not as good.
No.
But yeah, didn't Gordy start working for like a bacon factory or something? Or was
Yes,
that
he
just
became the CEO. Oh, he was in a throne kind of like this.
Yeah. No, there's
Yeah,
a picture.
It became like a real movie where Gordy was like he got like, you know, all conceited and got like a big job, and they were like, "Come on, Gordy, you can't be a corporate sellout."
I think he ended up saving his parents who were going to be eaten somehow.
Yeah,
Early
didn't we-
'90s is dark for
Yeah.
Disney.
Didn't we Google Gordy and or Babe or something? And then like you could distinguish Babe because Gordy or no Babe. Did Babe have
Babe has a little brown,
Yes,
on
Gordy
his
is an
top.
ascot.
exactly. And
Like
there,
a
if you look on
little-
Google, if you just look up Babe or a Gordy, it will have like the same images, and that's obviously an Pigster,
And in
Yes.
Pigster.
100%. All right, let's get to this fascinating story that I wanted Elena to talk about.
Yeah, I'm
You
ready.
watched 90 Day Fiance.
I do. I would say I'm an expert in the 90-day universe.
Okay, so
Alon, you're gonna like it.
So,
yeah.
yeah, Alon's been dreading this story. Can you tell us about Stephanie Motto's time on 90 Day Fiance?
I sure can. Okay, so
Am I
there's
saying her
like,
name right too?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I know her, Stephanie.
Okay.
There's like a few different spin-offs of 90 Day Fiance. She was on 90 Day Fiance the other way, which is like when the person from America goes to another country to meet somebody. So it's not like whatever. The whole 90-day thing is because the person has 90 days to get a visa in the US to get married, blah, blah, blah. So she just
Okay.
like, she comes on, she's a pretty girl. She's like, I'm bisexual and I met this girl in Australia. It's gonna be my first girlfriend. I'm gonna go meet her. But this girl, Stephanie, has like a YouTube channel. She's very, very sexual. I think she has an OnlyFans now, but back then it was just like a YouTube thing. She puts off like a sexual persona online, which is great. But in real life, she's not really as much like that than she puts on the computer, which is also totally fine. But if you're going to meet somebody who thinks you're one way and then you're not really that way, that's what, when she went over to Australia to meet this girl, things fell apart. Didn't work out for them. She came back. Now Stephanie's on another spinoff called The Single Life, which is where couples or somebody in a couple that doesn't work out in 90 Day Fiance goes on The Single Life, and it's them looking for love again. So now she's like looking for a guy or a girl. She's trying to break her celibacy because she's been celibate for a few years, which is also great, but she just seems a little bit fake on the TV. I don't really like her because of that. But then while this season has been unfolding, it's been coming out that she started selling her own farts. in a jar, but she's charging $1,000 per fart jar.
Whoa.
And she's making, what did it say, like $25,000 per week? Like a lot of money, enough to make me think, should I start selling my farts?
Well, I was going to ask, Elena, like, at what point in your life would it be like the low point or the high
I'm
point?
getting
where you're
close.
Like, I know, like you're watching the Warriors game, like, God, I can't get the stream going. I guess I got to start selling my own farts.
I know.
She's making good fart money.
She's making a lot of good
fart money.
And it's working for her. So I'm like, shit, I can't like knock this girl for making money a certain way. You know, people sell pictures of their feet. Everyone has their OnlyFans. And I'm all for like any of that stuff. If you're comfortable doing it yourself and you're not going to get fired because of it or whatever. But if you have a platform like she does and people want to buy your farts, like I said, she's a very pretty girl. Not that you have to be pretty to have pretty, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A fart is a fart at the end of the day. Stinky or not, it's pretty.
Yesterday, I see the news article trending on Twitter that she was hospitalized.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh no, what happened? So I guess she was having these really bad stomach pains, enough to the fact where she was scared that she was having a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out she went to the hospital and it was just a gas buildup. And you know how that can be when you're really have a gas buildup.
I've had the
Did
same.
They get her a
problem.
jar?
Eating all these like eating multiple protein shakes, eating a lot of beans and stuff to make you fart because she had to keep up for the demand that was making her all this money. And
She
so
probably had massive diarrhea too.
Thus ends the end of her career of selling farts. But now is there an opening in the market?
Oh, for Elena or possibly Alon.
I don't think anybody wants my farts. I don't even want my farts.
Alon Desay's brand of farts on sale now.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think that she might be the most like made the most money out of any of people out of the 90 Day Fiance franchise, like in terms of outside work. Because a lot of the people who've been on that do have OnlyFans. A lot of people who are on that because you make a certain amount of money on the show and then you try to stay relevant. So
yeah, she's the Justin Timberlake of 90 Day Fiance.
And farting.
Yeah.
Wait, so if you get $1,000 a jar, so say she's making like $25,000 a week or whatever, you know, if I was doing that, I would tell my family. I'd be like, yeah, guys, like, look, I figured out the easiest way to make money. You should be proud of me.
People are creeps out there and I'm not like
you can benefit from
it. Them, which if you want to do that too, that's whatever. But it's like I'd rather sell my farts.
It's just a fart. It's just a fart at the end of the day.
So I have some questions.
Yeah.
So she's not involved with the show anymore?
No,
whatsoever?
She's on the current season of
she is.
90 Day Fiance spin-off, The Single Life.
Got it. You said that. Single Life was second Cody.
Looking for romance.
Yes. So she's not making enough money from the show, or?
Well, you make I don't know how. I think you make more money as long as you've been on. This is her second season on the show. It's in the off season though. I mean, a lot of these people have side hustles. I mean, this is just like they make extra money with the show. It's not like life-changing money.
Right.
$1,500 per episode.
How much?
$1,000 to $1,500 per episode. 90 Day Fiance pays their cast member.
Fart jar.
It's worth a fart jar for okay.
Yeah.
So she was selling a shit ton of fart jars. And she's shipping these fart jars out to all over the country.
Yeah, maybe the world.
Well, the world.
She did go to Australia for love.
So, are we sure that farts stay in jars like that and don't dissipate over time?
I'm not positive, haven't tried, but I would imagine if she was able to sustain this business for a while, then she would have had to get some good reviews, in the comment section.
Yeah, but who's going to be like, there's the one guy being like, hey, it doesn't smell like a fart in this jar. I want more money back.
I would.
If you paid $1,000,
I paid a cool $1,000 for this fart. I expect to have it.
Okay, also a question about it. When you open it, maybe you smell the fart right then, but how long does it last? Do you have to put some sort of chemicals in there? Or like, is it just like a one smell $1,000 type of thing?
In her words, I watched a little video before we did this podcast. It lasts a lifetime.
Oh, good.
The memory does.
Because the stench just hits you so well that you'll
also
always
in her
remember
video,
it.
did it explain, like, is it like you're buying my enchilada night? You're buying my night. Chinese.
Oh, Chinese. That'll do it.
That's not.
Tonight's
if it's not there, that could be another market, like to open up like a little bit
Yeah.
to differentiate yourself if you're looking to get into the business.
I got different. I mean, is this really any different than? Isn't Charlize Theron selling like vagina candles?
Oh, that's Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow, yes.
Yeah, Goop.
Yes.
It
It's a
smells
great
like
name.
her
No,
vagina.
Goop is the name of her company, like
Oh,
the,
that's
like
right,
the
that's
women's
right.
health company, and then they do have
Yes.
the candle that says like this smells like a vagina.
Exactly.
Oh, but not Gwyneth
Haven't
Paltrow.
smelled it yet. Can't
No. It is.
confirm or
It
deny.
is Paltrow.
So it
Yeah,
smells
no.
like her vagina.
Yes.
Wow.
Or just vagina in general.
Vagina in general, but I mean, all vaginas are different.
It's true. Yeah, they were just like we have to do the research to find the exact stench of a vagina.
Right? I haven't smelled it yet. I would, but I hear they're expensive. I'm not about to pay for that.
Yeah, seriously, it's like $1,000 for a fart these days. I mean, look, to each their own. If she's happy in this life doing this stuff, what a good friend. What a good like I read up on the story. She called a friend and said, "I think I'm having a heart attack. Can you take me to the hospital because
Oh my God.
I've been farting." So.
Maybe she had to fart, and I think it was all built up.
It was built
Yeah.
up.
But I'm just
Could it
glad that
be-
she was able to listen to her body. And then it told her it's time to get out of this business now, because
Yeah,
good for her if she's
It's
making
time to
money.
retire.
But when it starts to like make you think that you're gonna have a heart attack, reel it back.
It's
Yeah.
tough to get out of the fart game.
it is.
Yeah.
But imagine
Once
how
I
much.
fart, it pulls me back in.
Well, yeah, once I farted, yeah. Imagine if someone like her biggest buyer, like the whale of buying farts, like the guy
The
or
mopey
gal,
fart?
yeah, the person who, yeah, exactly, the person who's just like, I'm dropping so many dimes on these farts, but so like he's probably thinking like, man, and I'm saying he because it's definitely a dude. This is all men who are buying these farts.
Well, yeah, I was about to ask, what clientele do you think she has? Do you think it's all like George Costanza looking guys, just like I gotta get a whiff?
They open it real quick and then try to close it, but it's all escaped by then, so it's ruined.
I don't
But
know.
like that person's probably
Weird
kicking themselves, thinking like, "Oh, if I could get that hospital fart because it was all built up."
Oh shit.
Yeah, that could have
That's
been
probably the
like
best one.
like when you're pulling off a heist, you want to pull off the big one before you get out of being a thief. That could have been her her big one.
Oh man. I'm glad we're talking
gross.
about this because this would probably be the caboose pistol story that my dad would just be like, okay,
It
that's
would
that's
be.
enough. That's enough.
I'm just so
Are there
glad that
any
I've watched enough
dolphins?
90 Day Fiance that I know.
I know. You're the expert on this, Elena. So
In this most
yeah.
recent episode, she took a bath with her ex-boyfriend from high school.
Oh,
Is she
nice.
normal, Elena?
Is she normal?
Like, I don't know.
No,
like
she's
she's weird.
She's
No,
as normal as
okay.
a girl selling farts in a jar.
The thing is, I don't like her because she seems like she's putting on some sort of show, but she's on a freaking show. So how can I really blame her? But I think she
Yeah.
probably is weird.
Alon, would you ever buy a fart in a jar?
Not hers. I don't know. Like if someone
Who's
was
that?
like, if someone,
If you had to buy
I don't know. The first thing that popped in my mind was
Clay-
like,
If Clay Thompson
No.
farted in a jar, how much would you buy it for?
I wouldn't buy that. But the first thing that popped in my mind was like, whose fart would I buy? And I was like, John Candy. And then I was like,
Oh man, that's been
no.
stored for a long
That's,
time.
yeah, I don't know, but like, so if you type in her name, like one of the first things that pops up on Google is, I guess she has, because you mentioned like with different things people sell. If you type her name in, I guess she has like freakishly large, like big toe. And so if you
Oh,
pop that in, that's
big
there. And I was just like, oh, interesting.
So she
So,
sells
yeah.
pictures of her feet too.
Well, I don't know if she does, but she has a
She
big
seems like
toe
she
and
does.
big farts.
Well, okay, so is this more just like, her just understanding like people are freaks and they're gonna buy shit like this, so good to
Yeah.
her for capitalizing on it.
She definitely is because she is reserved when it comes to like being actually in person with somebody. She's a little reserved. I think there's some trauma in the past that like sexual trauma maybe that she doesn't really, I don't want to like assume, but just the way that she acts, I think that that's there that she's not really talking about. She did just go through health something. She was immunocompromised when she went to Australia, but she went anyway. She's better now, but she was in the hospital for a while. So this girl's been through a lot. So I'm not trying to knock her down. I'm actually very proud that she was able to make that money as a woman selling something gross.
So gross. So gross.
I
What
mean,
will people pay for? Oh,
I know. Hey, but at the end of the day, she's making that good fart money.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like,
I'm impressed. I'm like extremely impressed. But yeah, once your stomach starts to hurt that bad, it's not worth it.
No, it's not. But yeah, if she's able, it's kind of like, like what your, your moral like guidelines are. But like, at the end of the day, like if you're able to, be happy with what you're doing, then by all means, sell your farts in a jar, make some money.
She could probably afford cable.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that like a third of a fart a month or something like that?
Yeah.
What if that like was her way of like she got pulled over and it's like, I'm sorry, officer, I don't have any registration, but I do have a fart in a jar. Well, I'll be.
If you get the right CHP or whatever she is.
Ma'am, you are free to go. I just got my own whiff of this and I'm good. All right. Enough of that. I'm sure there's like people that are whoever was watching this to begin with are just like, ew, I'm not listening to them talk about people that are farting in jars.
If they're my kind of people, they're still here.
That's true.
If they're mine.
Elena, how's everything going with you? How's the job going? How's everything with K-Fox?
Good at K-Fox. We've been home all week, which has been kind of nice for me. But
so you're working from home now?
Well, I've been going into work a few days a week, but right now we're out. Everyone who can be at home is at home. When I prefer that because I don't want to pay that pesky $7 bridge toll.
Yeah.
And
$7. Wow.
Pesky.
It's so pesky. Yeah. I wanted to tell you that I went to CVS earlier today and Cadbury eggs are already out.
Oh, really?
But not just that. I found winter Cadbury eggs in the 50% off aisle.
Oh, nice.
So
snowballs.
I snuck up on some. So as much as I'm excited about these, it makes me a little sad because I used to have to wait till Easter season every year to get these. Now to have them for Halloween, Christmas.
Yeah.
They're not as exciting to find, but I was excited to find these 50% off ones.
Yeah, so you got Cadbury eggs for the whole year.
I got my favorite snack.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Just a little bit of a different shape, less egg-like and more snowball shaped.
What was the snack you brought on last time that you said is your new favorite snack?
Jalapeno popper cheese goldfish.
Was it goldfish or
while. They were goldfish.
They were
limited edition. I haven't seen them.
Oh man, so now they're like Cadbury eggs?
Now they only have Cadbury eggs.
Yeah. Are you a Cadbury egg fan, Alon?
Cadbury eggs, yeah, but I didn't know you could get them year round. I thought it was just an Easter
thing because they heard my cry.
Yeah. So head to your local CVS to get those.
Well, the thing is, that was like always like, okay, time to get huge. It's Easter season, but now it's like all year round. I have to be careful.
Easter has better candy, honestly, than Halloween. Like, okay, you get more candy on Halloween.
Day. I'm like, by Valentine's Day, no one needs you.
No, Easter has way better candy. Like, because the Halloween candy, pretty much you can buy year round, unless you want candy corn. And then the Valentine's Day candy, it's just chocolate. You can go buy, and you don't need the little heart things. Those aren't that great.
Oh, more light.
Thank you. Oh, Zach just hit his head.
I was watching you in the other room, so I figured to give you some more light.
Were you enjoying our conversation about farting in jars?
I heard the whole thing.
Are you proud of me?
Fantastic.
Elena's gonna get off air. He's gonna be like,
now there's just a big shine.
Start fighting.
No, it's all good.
It's fine.
Elena,
interruption. I mean,
yes. Elena, are you happy that the baseball season's being delayed a little bit so we don't have to see what will be the A's season?
I wore my A's shoes today.
Oh, nice.
And they made me sad.
Yeah. Those are cool.
Thanks. They're from China.
That's odd. Those are
I literally got them in China.
Yeah, they're an option. You can get the shoes or a fart jar. She chose the shoes.
The shoes, much better choice.
I'm like too sad to think about the A's. Like I see all the baseball news and I see it. I just scroll by it and I'm like,
yeah.
Because I'm so depressed about everything right now that I'm trying to stay the positives. Clay's coming back, thinking about positive things because the world is a scary place. I got to read the news every morning. It's depressing. So I don't think about the A's, and I know that's bad for me to do, but I don't have to anymore because I don't get paid to felt, you know what I mean? It's like I can choose,
Yeah.
you can choose what I need to watch and consume. If it's going to depress me, I'm just, I pay attention to what's going on, but I don't let it consume me because I just try to be happy.
That's the way everybody's got to live their lives these days. Just stop paying attention to the news, unless it's like important stuff, but like watch 90 Day Fiancé and the good stuff.
That's why I became obsessed with like these stupid reality shows that I never watched before. It was like I needed a break from all of like this. And so now I just watch other crazy people and I don't worry about it.
Derek, you just called 90 Day Fiancé and the good stuff. Like that's the good stuff. All the reality TV shows.
Good.
No, I mean,
Yeah, some of it is.
anything to get your mind off
No,
the
that's
bullshit
true.
that's going on in the world, honestly.
Real quick, Elena, do you still do your Oaklanes videos at all? Any of those?
No.
Oh,
I've always wanted to bring it
those are
back.
so much fun.
It's not like it's going away forever. I've just been
Busy.
I don't know. I've been having a hard time sometimes.
Yeah.
Getting in front of the camera and stuff. I got a little camera shy after the game. And I'm gonna get back into it at some point.
Yay.
Next season, I'll be the ray of light.
Who do you want to see leave? Because I don't want either Matt Olson or Matt Chapman to leave. Now that we're talking A's, but like, who would you?
Alon, didn't you hear? She doesn't want to talk about it.
I don't know. Who's the worst? I want them both to stay. Can't everybody just stay one time?
I know. One year. Give us Can't we all just get along?
I know.
ELE. Everybody love everybody.
Exactly.
Well,
Elena,
my drink is done.
Elena, you're always welcome here to have some airtime and have a nice, well-lit background.
It's looking better now, huh?
Yeah, it looks good.
Sorry it took till right now.
No, all good.
I like to be in the dark.
Elena, are you aware that the last time that you were on with me and Steven in our picks contest, you beat us?
You told me.
Yeah.
You know what? I came in second place. I was in the championship for my fantasy football league that I auto drafted and didn't change the lineup one time because I kind of forgot that I was in it, but I would just like automatically put it in again. And then my brother-in-law hit me up and said, "You know, you're in the championship. You just beat me." I was like, "What?" So this proves that nothing means nothing.
True.
And
so wait, you won your league?
I got second. I came in. I didn't win. I should have changed the lineup right on my last week. But yeah, I made it to the last game without changing my lineup once. I didn't even know who was on my team, and my name is Auto Draft Oakland because I've been auto drafting that team for a while.
Nice.
But usually, I like actually change my lineup.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna go back to the old classic. What was it? Josh Gordy Nelson.
I had that was a good name. Then I also had just a chubby life.
Oh.
Chubby guy living
Just
a chubby life.
Chubby guy living a chubby life for old Nick Chubb.
Because there was a guy who used to follow us on Twitter, and that was his handle, and I really liked that handle, so I stole it for my team.
And the guy and the Twitter account that loved was it SF Poo that followed us?
I loved SF Poo.
Yes.
He wanted me to be like a poo on the ground, finding the poo, and I was like, I will do it to send me the info, and we never followed up.
I just charge me $1,000 for each poo, and I'll help you out. All right. Well, since Elena has beaten me and Steven in a picks contest, she's going to participate in the last week of the season with me and Alon. And Alon came up one game short last week. I beat him, but now he gets to redeem himself in this week's edition of Wins or Wangs. Elena, do you remember the read for it?
No.
Who will come out on top and who will spend the next day on the pot?
Who will come out on top and who will spend the next day on the pot? It's Wings or Wangs.
Let's do it. It's time for an unprecedented week 18 in the NFL. An extra week. And it's been a long, long season, but now it's coming down to the end. And we have games on Saturday. Oh, yeah. We have the Chiefs at the Broncos. If the Chiefs win this game, they are in a good position to get the 1 seed unless the Titans win their game. But just as far as this game, Chiefs at the Broncos, Elena, Alon, who you guys taking?
I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah. Chiefs. I agree with Elena.
I'm taking the Chiefs as well. They have more to play for, and the Broncos, their season's kind of over. It is over. Then we got the later game on Saturday night, the Dallas Cowboys. They've already clinched the NFC East, and now they're heading to Philly, and Philly is full of COVID. They're going to have a lot of guys miss the game. And they really have nothing to play for. They've already clinched. So I will take the Cowboys in this situation. Who you guys taking?
Dem boys.
I will
Sorry
go
for that.
I will go with Philadelphia.
Really, Alon?
Yes. The Cowboys
Alright.
showed me nothing last week.
Okay, all right. Even though Philly's resting pretty much all of their guys.
I don't care.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll go with Philly.
Another team that may be resting all their guys, the Green Bay Packers, because they clinched everything, and that terrible person, Aaron Rodgers, says he wants to play, but we'll see what happens with that. But the Lions, the sneaky Lions, they just want to play for pride at this point with old Jerry Goff. So that's his dad, actually, Jerry Goff. Who do you guys have in this game, in this kind of meaningless game, the Packers and Lions?
Elena, I defer to you. You always go first.
I'm going to go with the old Jerry Goff dad and the Lions.
Wow. The Lions. Jerry, I'll go with the Packers. Packers don't lose to the Lions.
I actually forgot to pick the last game. I'll take the Cowboys.
You did pick them.
Did I? I forget sometimes. This segment's crazy, Elena. Here's the deal. The Lions are a fun team, but the Packers, Jordan Love should play most of this game, and he's got to prove he's a good quarterback, right? So I'm going to take the Packers. All right. Then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers in Ben Roethlisberger's real last game going up against the Baltimore Ravens. And we don't know if Lamar Jackson's playing or not. He's going to try to give it a go because they have playoff chances. The Steelers have playoff chances. But Alon, then Elena, who are you taking?
I like Baltimore. I like Baltimore in this game. Pittsburgh beat a really bad Browns team, and all the emotional side of it's gone now. So yeah, Baltimore.
By the way, should Najee Harris have scored on that touchdown or just fall down?
Fall down. Always fall down.
I know. But, I mean, at least, then on the flip side, Ben had the opportunity to kneel down. But Ben's a weird character in his own right. Elena, who you taking in this game?
I think I'm going to go with stinky Ben Roethlisberger
Oh.
and the Steelers.
Yeah.
He seems like he stinks. I don't know.
He seems like he takes a whiff of fart jars.
He would be the guy buying them.
He would be.
That's
Ben Roethlisberger's
Ben
buying farts.
Roethlisberger with like through the years probably has jars and jars of farts.
Eat sandwiches while he smells farts.
Yeah.
Oh, the old hoagie.
Yeah, the old hoagie.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Pittsburgh Hoagies. I think that Pittsburgh is gonna try to play for Ben Roethlisberger, and TJ Watt may break the sack record. So I'm gonna take the Steelers. Next game. We got the Indianapolis Colts going up against the Jaguars. And Alon, you brought this to my attention. They're having the Jacksonville Jaguars are having a clown out where they're going to have all of their fans show up in clown outfits because
Terrifying.
Isn't that scary? I wouldn't want to be
all
there.
of the fans are showing up in clown outfits because they want to show that the clown they're referring to is Trent Baalke. You got to Google it. They want him out. And so they're going to have all of the Jacksonville Jaguar fans show up in clown outfits. I can't wait for the shot of hot girls in bikinis in the hot tub with clown masks on. But who you guys taking?
Can I pick a draw? Because everyone's going to be terrified.
Can I pick a draw?
Yeah, go for the draw. Why not?
Oh, a tie. Okay.
You know I hate ties, Elena.
I'll go with Indianapolis. As much as I want Jacksonville to win that game, for the Raiders' sake, that you know what? No, I gotta go with Indianapolis.
If they tie, what does that mean for the Raiders?
I have no clue.
Well, if the Raiders and Chargers tie, both teams make the playoffs. So there's been a sentiment going around that they should just kneel down every play.
What do you think, Elena? What do you think about that? Because Derek and I talked about it, and Derek hates it 100%. I only hate it like maybe 85%.
I think if we're getting close to the end of the game and it's close to a tie or tie near the end, go for it. But the whole game, well, I would think it would be hilarious. But
what a broadcast! Imagine
do that.
Collinsworth going crazy because of that.
Yeah,
You
that'd be interesting. I'll
But if
take
it comes
the
down to
Colts.
the last few plays,
Yeah,
make it look like an accident.
He accidentally
Whoops,
nailed
tied.
the ball.
Uh-oh. Elena, are you gonna pick a team or you just want to stick with the draw?
I'm gonna go with the Jags.
Yeah, Elena's going with the
Or
clowns.
Daniel Ogden.
All right, then we got the football team, or should I say the Washington Groundhogs, going up against the New York Giants. Both teams have nothing to play for, but hey, it's fun and kooky.
It's fun and kooky.
I'm going with the Hoagies.
Elena's going with the Hoagies, aka the football team. Washington, that is. Alon.
That Hoagies name's actually kind of growing on me a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Hoagies as well.
Hoagies, make it 3 Hoagies for me too.
Yay!
Also, did I say I'm taking the Colts? I forget if I say my pick or
You
not.
did. You said
Okay.
Indianapolis.
Please talk over me if I'm sounding stupid. All right, next one. Bears at the Vikings. Old Kirk, Elena's favorite name, going up against the Khalil Mack-less Chicago Bears. But Robert Quinn set the franchise record for sacks in a season. Overall, this game doesn't matter, but hey, Bears, Vikings, who you got, gang?
Who's going first?
I'm going Chicago.
Yeah.
For
I'm
Bears
going Chicago.
dog.
Because Elena hates the name Kirk.
I'm going Chicago as well.
I'm going to say the Vikings for my little brother. Next one. We got the Titans at the Texans. Basically, Derrick Henry coming back and sounds like he's going to be healthy for the playoffs, but I don't think he'll play in this game. If the Titans win this game, they clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC, and then they get a bye for Derrick Henry to rest up. I'm taking the Titans.
Titans.
Same.
All right, then. Then we got the Bengals at the Browns, and both quarterbacks are not going to play, and Baker Mayfield is now calling out reporters because there's rumors that he wants to be traded in the offseason, even though he told the team hostage because he had to play this season, even though he had a torn labrum. I'm sick of this guy, but I'm taking the Browns.
Who are they playing?
The Bengals.
Oh, Bengals.
But no Joe Burrow or Joe Mixon.
I'm
I
going
know,
Browns.
but the Browns are so inept.
Yeah, but even their backups are better than some of their guys. I think Chubb's going to play, Rub-a-dub Chubb, but Case Keenum may play. I'm taking the
Ooh.
Browns, and for the old Brown note.
Yes.
And then we got the Carolina Panthers with nothing to play for with old Sam Darnold going to Tampa. It'll be the first game without Antonio Brown's crazy ass. The Buccaneers need to win this game in order to be in the seeding hunt of either the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 4 seed. They've already wrapped up the division. I'm taking the Buccaneers. What say you?
Bucks.
Oh. Yeah. Alon.
Tampa Bay doesn't lose at home. Bucks.
Take a Tampa Bay as well. Then we got the Seahawks and the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a chance to win the division if the Rams lose. Seahawks, their season's pretty much done, but will they play spoiler? I don't think so. I'm taking the Cardinals.
Who you got, Elena?
Cardinals.
I'll go Seahawks.
Lonnie?
I'll go
Seahawks.
Oh, great. The old
Yeah.
12th man Alon.
Yeah, my brother's when he moved to Seattle for a year and a half, 2 years, he became a huge Seahawks fan. He's like, I'm done with the Raiders.
Do you have a
Now that-
boxing dog behind you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you can see the whole thing, there's the dog up there, and then in the corner, he's going against Mailman Pete.
I love it.
He also has a real dog. He doesn't
So your
box
brother's
there.
not a real Seahawks fan, but you're going to do it for your brother anyway?
He is a Seahawks fan, but he likes the Raiders more. I don't know. When they won the Super Bowl, he was like, I love the Seahawks. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, it's
But,
okay. You
yeah,
get excited when you're in the area,
yeah, I'll go for the Seahawks.
especially
Okay.
when you have nothing to root for with the Raiders except for
Hey,
sadness.
there's my pooch.
Ah.
Oh,
What's your dog's name?
yay.
Aria.
Nice.
Aria. Bring
Good
him
name.
over.
Then we have the Patriots going to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins got the poo kicked out of them last week against the Titans, and the Patriots are trying to win the division. If the Bills lose, Patriots, I'm taking. What about you guys?
I'm going Dolphins.
Patriots always have a tough time in Miami, but I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Aria, your opinion?
She's probably thinking about going on a walk.
Woof, woof, indeed. Next up, we got the Jets going to the Bills, and if the Bills win, they win the division. I'm taking the Bills. for my dad's side of the family and for really long trips to Buffalo.
Ooh.
I'm taking the Bills for buffalo wings.
Yes.
I will also take the Bills for both of your previous stated reasons. Also,
There
do
you
you
go.
get to go to Buffalo if they host a playoff game, Derek? Or you get to
Do
go?
I?
Yeah.
I mean, I could go to Buffalo, but it's cold as shit there right now, so no.
Buffalo's beautiful.
How
Buffalo
cold?
is
Let's
beautiful.
see.
Say again, Elena.
I'm looking about how cold it is right now.
Oh,
Not
it's probably
Buffalo Wild
freezing.
Wings.
Although I do need to go see my grandma at some point, so I will make a trip out to Buffalo.
24
What else we got?
degrees. Not that bad.
How cold is it right now, Buffalo?
24 degrees.
It's pretty scary
Colder in
cold.
Chicago.
Is it really?
I think it's like 7.
Ooh, okay.
Actually, I don't know if that's true.
I think
might
it's
have
all
been-
the same once it's like in that 25 to 10
It's
range.
13
It's
in
just-
Chicago.
Oh God,
yeah, it sucks.
it's cold in my room right now, and it's probably like 40 degrees.
I've got a heat lamp on me. It's nice.
Then we got a game that Niners fans will be watching if things go sour for their game. Saints at the Falcons. The Saints need to win this game in order to make the playoffs. But this could be Matt Ryan's last game in Atlanta.
Saints. Because they don't have to play with Ian Book anymore.
True.
I'll go
love that.
Atlanta because I want to be different.
Ooh,
Atlanta wants to be different. I'll
contrarian.
conform. I'll pick the Saints. What else we got? Okay, here we go. The two biggest games of the day. If I got everything else. Yep, got everything else. Okay, here we go. It's the games we talk about all week. The 49ers go to LA, take on the Rams. We don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play. Most likely it's going to be Trey Lance, but we'll see. If the Rams win, they get the 2 seed and lock up the NFC West. If the Rams lose and the Niners win, the Niners make it to the playoffs. Who do you guys have?
Rams.
I'm going Rams too because I'm a bitch.
Call me a bitch as well, and we're all the Ramley here. We're all taking the Rams, and everyone's going to say that we're Niner haters. Go ahead. I could care less.
You got to ram it.
Got to ram it.
I'm usually nice when I'm talking to my Niners friends because I am actually not a bitch. I'm nice, but right now I've got my 2 dudes here. I'm gonna go against them.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we got the game that'll be going up against Klay Thompson's return. Chargers at the Raiders. Simply put, if this game isn't a tie, the winner of this game goes to the playoffs.
I'm
Zach
going with
just
the
yelled at me for
Raiders.
choosing the Rams.
Oh, is he a Niner fan?
Yeah.
I can
Hear from the room.
I gotta go with the Raiders, of course.
Elena.
Me too. Even though it's gonna
Ooh.
make me conflicted.
My heart
Positivity.
says that the Rams. My heart says the Raiders should win this game for all the bullshit they've been through with John Gruden and Henry Ruggs.
And for 2011,
Yeah, for 2011 and totally redeem themselves. I think the Chargers are a better football team, but screw all that. As everyone probably guesses, I'm taking the Raiders.
Come to the game.
What's up?
Come to the game.
I got to work, my man.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's too bad.
I know. And that's
I'll
our
be
picks,
busy
everybody.
watching Clay Thompson.
I know. Yeah,
I'm gonna have my phone with Klay Thompson on my
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
You get good reception in old Allegiant Stadium.
Oh yeah, the internet's amazing there. It really makes the fan experience wonderful.
I'm sure it does, Alon. Nothing like better Wi-Fi reception than the Coliseum. Anyway,
I like the Coliseum because I can put my phone away because I know it's not going to work. I'm not taking pictures. Maybe I'm taking a few right before like an A's game starts, and I'm like, okay, that's it. This thing's not working. Concrete everywhere.
That's very true.
That's
Good
true.
point. It really gets the fans involved.
It does.
well, guys, we've had a fun time. And the Warriors are playing right now. It's 0-0 with no Steph Curry playing against the Pelicans. I'm sure everybody was excited to go see that game. So we'll end things now, and we've covered everything from football to groundhogs to fart jars. And Elena, thank you as always for making time for us.
And Cadbury eggs.
And Cadbury eggs. Who could
I
forget?
need
You're
some of
welcome.
those.
Thanks for having me come on. I'm really happy I was able to come on as your 90-day fiance expert
Yeah.
and your rodent expert.
Alon, thank you so much for filling in today, man. We'll see where we go going forward with everything. But real quick, Steven, we're thinking about you, buddy. We're thinking about the Langfords, and
We
hopefully
love
come back
you.
soon.
Yeah, positive vibes, Steven.
Well, guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in or listening. And in honor of Steven, let's end this how we always ended. Either of you guys, whoever wants to say it, Steven always says, that's just our opinion, man.
Ooh, Elena, go for it.
That's just our opinion, man.
There you go. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye.